So, good evening, everyone. MaaziEzeoke speaking this evening to us. How are we doing? So, today, make we gather or make all of us gather today. This is usual, the Friday Hangout with MaaziEzeoke. Friday Hangout. Where are we? Now, it will be nice to know where you are watching me from. Okay, I hope I'm not demanding too much to know. I know some of you have been waiting. Henry Chinedu Joseph, he said, if I was in the other room. No, I wasn't in the other room. I was under the cupboard. I was doing something. Many of you don't know that I'm actually a mechanic, a handyman, a screwer. I screw things and unscrew them. Best say no election in Anambra State. Says who? You mustn't vote in an election. Schönen guten Abend, Akeme Ikechukwu. Guten Abend, Mazi. Greetings aus Berlin. My brother, grüß dich auch. Oh, what a wonderful baby you have in your profile picture. So, no election in Anambra State. No be by force now. No be by it's not a must. So if you don't want to vote, of course, by all means, it's not. No one is forcing you. No one is going to come to your house to force you. But do not venture going out to stop people from voting. Because if you go out to stop people from voting, it might be the quickest way of meeting your ancestors. And I love you all. I don't want you to get in harm's way. Best again says Biafra no election. My friend, go and sit down. Biafra no. Which one is Biafra and say no election? You are saying no election in your place. In 2007, I made a call. There was argument why the boycott shouldn't happen, but eventually the boycott was lifted. 2019, I said, if you think someone hates you, use your votes to flog the person, and I mean it. You go there. I think I shared the video again yesterday myself. No staff did, me did. Use your votes to flog your prosecutors, those that work against you. But staying at home and saying that you're going to disrupt the election, I think it doesn't make sense. But that's by the way. Okay, so it's I'm a very liberal person. If you don't want to vote, of course. Bear in mind that in 2009, 2010, there was so much voter apathy. There was no insecurity. Voter apathy that we had between around 97,000 was what Peter Obi won that election, re-election with. So let's see how the turnout is going to be tomorrow. It's in the next couple of hours. But do us one thing. Join me here tomorrow. Again, it's not by force. If you don't want to join me, don't log on. But if you want to join, and if you want us to be respectful to one another, you can join me tomorrow. We are going to do a full situation room analysis. Anambra State election, we are going to do our best to bring you, analyze all the content of what is happening. For those of you saying no election, it's fine. You can go buy yourself a beer. And by the way, good evening, everyone. That's a new month. I am still MaaziEzeoke, okay? Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Henry Chinedu Joseph says, finally, he's here. Thank God. Watching from Dublin. Freezing cold here. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Uguru name somebody there. Tomorrow is the D-Day, MaaziEzeoke. Onyapka. No. I have no party. I have no party, please. I am. If there is anything like the dot, I think I'm getting an idea now. It may be because of what is happening. Let's aggregate our ideas. We'll go to Abuja and we'll register the dot party. That dot party. No, what we're going to call it Za party. I'm telling you honestly, I'm going to do it. Honestly, it's an idea. See, we're going to do Za party. So, people, how are we? Za party. Finally. Tomorrow is the D-Day, yes. So let's see who's going to win tomorrow. But we hope those that we fear will not win the election. We hope that those who think that not supposed to be in the state are not going to win the election. And thank you very much for joining me. I am still one and your only MaaziEzeoke here, and this is still Njenje Media TV. This evening on my Friday hangout with you. I don't know why Facebook is not connecting. Something is definitely not right with Facebook. You know, something is definitely not right. Is anybody able to see me on Njenje Media? Is anybody able to see me on Njenje Media on Facebook? I think no, it's only YouTube. So, tomorrow will be Ghost Town, the day Igbo show the world that they reject me. Luka, I think you need to have some wine. Ghost Town is, or maybe you're the only one doing Ghost Town. Listen, people, the only reason why you might see voter apathy tomorrow, but I don't believe the voter apathy we're going to have tomorrow is going to be as bad as it was in 2009. I mean, these are statistics and these are data. However, you know, if you if you want to stay or if you want to stay, if you ask me, it's time people should begin to come together, aggregate their minds, you know, do like others. You know, many of you watching me from Bayern, from Germany, you know, in Bayern, they have what they call the CSU in English. The CSU has a coalition with CDU. Now, the CSU is a very obscure and a very small party. But one thing they have succeeded in doing is merging and fusing their ideology to certain, you know, a more left-centric party in Germany. Now, what they now do is they try to put in their policy. People, if we are serious, if you are serious, begin to think of how you can take over, say, for instance, Aba. You know, all those things, all those waters that our mothers swim, all the bad looting that happened in Aba, for instance. You begin to think of how you elect a governor that will do those things that you think are not right. Make sure you elect local government chairmen that will do those things that you think that are not right. There is limit to protest. There is limit to insult. There is limit to all other things you can do. If you want to get serious, the Barcelonians in Spain, if you watched the interview with Chidoka and Ambassador Paul Ndukwe, what's it called? Dr. Sam Amadi and Enyinaya Abaribe, that happened. You know, it's here on Njenje Media TV. You can go back and watch it. From that interview, you can see from what Osita Chidoka and Enyinaya Abaribe is saying, there is an alternative. He said this himself, that even in the year 2017, when the judge said that in order to stand bail, one of the bail conditions for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be a senator. Now, how could he have stood bail for him if he wasn't a senator? And when he said that, I said, wow, okay. And some of you now will say, oh, election doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. And then I ask yourself, how did Abaribe become a senator? His own was not election or selection. You see, it defeats that argument. I would want to see any of us who actually will want to debate these things. You want to come online, show your face the way I'm showing my face. In the course of this conversation, let's act actually as human beings, respecting one another, no insult. For today, see, I have my drink. It's Friday. It's a Friday hangout. I hope I can wake up tomorrow early enough to do the the program tomorrow. No insult. Insult, red card, block, you go today. For the first time, I might actually insult, boom. But we can be civil and argue and discuss with one another. Onyenimo says election result has been leaked accidentally. Okay, Onyenimo, can you please share the election result with me or with us? He said, we gained nothing voting since 2019. I hear you loud and clear. Obviously, you've been eating since 2019. I don't see how taller you probably have become as an adult. Nigeria in itself, you see, I think sometimes we make this mistake of trying to personalize Nigerian problem. Nigerian's problem is a collective, total catastrophic failure. And I want to look at the issues and the failure of the nation and the reasons it's not working, not engage in blame game of thinking, there is this El Dorado that I have to fold my hands here now. Then until I get to that El Dorado, then I unfold my hand and start working. No, my worldview shows, and my worldview is, from the smell of the fat, you have an idea how the real deal will taste. Ndị Igbo sị, a na-eji isi ahụ ama ụtọ nsị. Okay, so Francis says, we must come out and vote. It's your choice. It's your choice. You can come out and vote. Someone else will say, I don't want to come out and vote. But bear in mind, please, if you do not vote for a governor, you have no right to demand, or rather to complain how that individual is misgoverned. If you do not vote, you have no right, in my view, to complain of how because you had the right to actually stop him. You see, let's stop this narrative that, votes don't count. Yes, we know what happened in Imo State. Obviously, there was some sort of miscarriage of judgment. But if we want to stay within the realm of southern states, we have other 12 southern states, 6 in the southwest and 6 in the southeast, south, and 5. The remaining 4 in the southeast, that makes it 16 in total. Did the same abracadabra in Imo State happen in those states? We know how the people of Edo, on their own said, no, we're not taking it. We're not taking it. And the people of Edo came out to say, nope, no godfatherism. Tomorrow, in less than, how many hours now? In less than 12 hours, the election will happen. If you have your PVC, you have the right to say, we know what you guys are planning from Abuja for us. We will say no to that. We know what you guys from Abuja are planning for us. We are going to say no to that. You know what? You cannot be in my hangout without water, beer, wine, red, champagne, whatever it is. David Okafor, guten Abend, my good friend aus Munich. Wie geht's dir? Und wo ist dein Getränk? So go and get your own drink. Ghost, listen, Ghost election tomorrow for better future for our children. This is the most illogical thing I've ever read. I do not see how not voting for the election tomorrow would in any way, shape, or form add value to the future of unborn children. I do not see. But again, it's a free world. You're free. You know, one thing I'm saying is, my liberal mind tells me if you don't want to vote the election tomorrow, I mean, of course, I begrudge you not. It is your right. By the way, Anambra has about 2 point something million registered voters. Yet the turnout is normally, max between 10-15%. So no one has ever said, oh, why is it that 200 and 400 and something people came out to vote? Maybe 20%. 200 and 400 and something people came out to vote. Why is this that this person won with 200 and something votes, 200 something thousand votes? So if we haven't done that in the last 17, 18, 19 years, why must it then be tomorrow? Again, one thing we must also know is ndị Igbo si na agba mba atụ n'ogwe, agba aba atụ n'ogwe, chee ọfụma na ọ bụrụ ogwe ka apịala akụ. In 2007, there was, no election, no election, no election, no election. Yet, dying minute, last minute election happened. Or rather, dying minute, people were told to go and vote. In 2019, no election, no election. And every logical person that made argument why we think, rather than a boycott, I would rather mobilize to defeat my opponent. Last minute election, the boycott was called off. Yet, people have been told, do not go and get your voter's card, do not collect your voter's card, use your voter's card for offense salad, do this, do the other one. Dying minute, it was called off. The same template yesterday, it was also called off. And again, we must now begin to be very careful before India Anambra begins to take these things personal. Why every time election in Anambra, all we hear is no election? Why? Why must it be Anambra? Yet in 2023, Abia, Imo will probably have their election and no one would ever hear of no election. But whenever Anambra election comes, all manner of rubbish begins to circulate the air. Let's be guided very well. So having said that, people, I take some of your comments, then we'll crack on. Well, again, if you bests, I don't even know your real name, but I would wish to address you by your real name, though. You're basically saying a lot, but I can tell you, obviously, if you're in the diaspora, you're not going to vote, so why bother? Somebody yesterday was saying there is not going to be any election, that the whatever S, O or AS or whatever, oh Jesus, what is it called? DOS, yes. Whatever they were talking about, DOS or DA, yes, whatever S. So that the election was not going to hold and this and the other one. I mean, I'm like, and so what? And so what? So if the election was not going to hold, the election was going to hold, but yet someone who sits in the diaspora now says, no, election must not hold. The person saying this, you sit in the diaspora and you're saying election must not hold, and you're threatening fire and brimstone from the diaspora. It's time we begin to tell ourselves the truth. Honestly, it's time. I begrudge you not. I say that on the top time. If you don't want to come out to vote, sit in your house, eat whatever you want to eat. Offense, I begrudge you not. You want to drink coconut palmy, I begrudge you not. But hey, do not disrupt the election. Do not come to disrupt it. It might be the easiest way for you to meet your ancestors if you do. Thank you. David Okafor said, ja, mir geht's gut und mir geht's auch gut. Danke. Yes, exactly. I think anyway, let me move away from that. So people, let's look at something happening. Today, my good friend and the friend of this channel, Dr. Melafia Obidaya, was buried, was laid to rest. If you recall, he died on the 19th of September 2021. He was a man who spoke up and who spoke his mind. I was telling someone, I said, maybe I would, at some point, publish some of the things he told me in private conversations. We had private pre-recorded sessions. Obviously, it was planned, pre-recorded, and sometimes I ask myself, why did we actually do it that way? Normally I do live, but this was pre-recorded, but I haven't. And the same thing happened with Yinka Odumaki. We had pre-recorded sessions that yet to be published. And some of the things he said in those recordings are mind-blowing. And I think we might get to a point that the world will hear those things that he said. But for the fact that the family mourns him now, for the fact that obviously the family is in mourning, so that wouldn't be the best time to publish them. And I said to him, may his soul, Obadiah Melafia, rest in perfect peace. So people haven't said that. We come to Lagos and we see where building collapsed in Lagos. I asked myself, I said, not again. I talked about it the other time. Now, the owner and the guy who built that, who did that building, obviously did, a very vibrant, not young, someone who is above 50 is no longer young, but a very vibrant person who had this whatever we can build in London, in New York, in South Africa, Dubai, why can't we replicate it at home? He had that mentality. One thing no one knows at this point is the actual reason why that building actually crashed. No one knows the actual reason why that building actually crashed. Some are insinuating, oh, it's this, it's the other one, it's this, it's the other one. Well, these are speculations. No one is actually, in the real sense of it, knows until investigations are done. But even in the investigation, I am still kind of being very, very skeptical because if you recall, many years ago, TB Joshua, the hostel or hotel or whatever, apartment he had in Lagos near his church collapsed, and many foreigners, especially South Africans, who came for miracle and healings and all the rest, many of them died in that building, collapse. To yet, I cannot tell you that there is anywhere I can lay my hand or I can find the report of that building collapse. I cannot tell you that I can lay my hand to find that report anywhere. Now happens this one. Question is, what is actually happening? This building is 3 in 1. Two are still standing, 1 collapsed. I don't know. I mean, are we going to rule out even sabotage? Because I believe many of you who understand standard works and ethics on international best practices, if you've worked for international corporations and you've worked for international projects, you know, I think certain standards are adhered to that you don't necessarily begin to want to do your own and you begin to cut corners. I'm not defending that no corners were cut. Neither am I, you know, I'm basically not saying that actually that they did. What I'm trying to do is to actually analyze things dispassionately without letting emotions run amok. Now, Arise TV had the following report and they had the following comment. The guy who owns that building, sadly, was in that building when the building collapsed. And even my good friend Boss, I call him Boss, Dele Mahmood as well, put up a video the other day yesterday on Instagram showing, because I think that building is called 360 view. So if you get to the rooftop, you can actually look around and see the whole of Lagos. And it's a very fantastic view actually from what Dele shared. So you can actually look at there. Lagos suddenly doesn't look like Lagos. It looks like Vegas or Dubai somehow, you know, from pictures here. But as they say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. When you now get down from that high horse, you come down, you begin to hear, when you go towards Marina, you begin to see adults putting their buttocks on the street, shitting, poo-pooing, open the, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So, you know, again, for this, I don't know actually what happened here, but let's listen to other people's opinion regarding this. But before we do, kindly, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please, 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 for the fact that it's month of November and it is Mba month, I implore you and I beg you, kindly subscribe to this channel, share this video with others. Now, grab yourself something to drink. Zobo. This is Zobo. This is Zobo, you know. This is concentrated Zobo. So grab yourself Zobo. Grab yourself yellow wine, red wine, black wine, white wine, palm wine, whatever it is, water wine, you know, because wine is good. Can you imagine? I know the miracles that Jesus could do. The first thing he did was to say, nah, people, we're not going to begin shark. I want shayo, you know. So because Jesus made, you know, so go and make your own. So people, get something, let's get excited and relaxed. And at some point, you may wish to join me here. Let's have this conversation because it is weekend and the weekend is here. The election in the state of Anambra will hold, must hold, and definitely we are working tirelessly to ensure that the right person, the will of Ndi Anambra, whoever they elect, must be announced. Don Anthony, I want someone else to go grab something. Let us roll, people. Let us roll.
Entertainment. Socialite Obi Cubana, popularly known as Obi Cubana, was released on Thursday from the custody of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission after being detained for 3 days.
See, Obi Cubana, I've actually asked some questions. Another good friend. The other day I was with him with area father. You know, we're just talking about something. Area father, that's a Charlie boy put out. Now, you ask yourself, EFCC said, you know, I listen, people, I struggle and every time trying to be objective on things. EFCC said they charging for money, naira abuse. They're charging for invading tax. I say, I thought we have inland revenue in Nigeria. I thought there are people, their job is to collect tax, to ensure that you pay the appropriate tax. Naira abuse, EFCC has become the CBN. I don't want to say that this has anything to do with him being able, but think about it. We have Abakayari, the teller, the one doing teller for Hush Puppy. America wanted him. Suddenly, EFCC issued a statement. Oh, they're not involved in such matters. It's not their remit. So I say, oh, so EFCC actually have ruler where they can draw lines. What is within their remit and what is outside their remit? Or is it because of the last name of the person in question? I don't know. Do not accuse me. For me, listen, things happening, it has happened in the past. It has happened in the past. It happens in the future. And it can actually happen in the future.
You will be a past participant.
Because you think I'm lying, you ask my good brother. I don't know what happened there. But what I'm saying in essence is, when I listen to this, I see a lot of things that would make one to question. But again, let me not say much now.
The 46-year-old socialite and club owner was arrested on Monday over alleged money laundering and tax fraud. Well, all right. Let's begin what's trending with the story of Femi Osibona, owner of the 21-story building that collapsed in Lagos, whose body was discovered on Thursday, buried beneath the rubble. The developer was on the verge of building a first-of-its-kind luxury apartment in Nigeria. He was known by close friends as Femi Osibona. Osibona started his real estate business in London in 1997 and is said to be the first African developer to construct a 7-story building in East London. Well, in an interview he granted our sister publication This Day in 2019, Osibona said he sold shoes and suits as far back as 1991 before venturing into real estate development. Well, in 2009, he moved to South Africa, where he built 6 luxury units called Fourscore Mansion in Waterkloof, Pretoria. Osibona was an evangelist and a philanthropist and a member of the Celestial Church of Christ. The Ikoyi building collapse may not be the first time Osibona would experience a structural damage to his building. In 2018, 4 out of his 24 flats in Atlanta, Georgia were razed. According to him, the incident turned out to be a blessing after insurance payment covered the cost of the building and the entire 24 flats. Osibona was reported to have been on the ground floor before the 21-story building collapsed. He was 53 years old and is survived by 4 children. Well, it was a horrific scene yesterday when his body was discovered, buried beneath the rubble. Tundu Abiola, I don't know if you saw those videos. I'm sure you did not see it. But it was horrible. Well, may his soul rest in peace. Our heart, goes out to his family at this point. Well, I wanted to take a video also of the senior pastor of Kingsway International Christian Center in London that has been making the rounds on social media. It revealed how Femi Osibona went to him for divine consultation with regards to his real estate investments. Let's take a listen.
After listening to my tips, I built 12 apartments in London. Built 12 apartments in London. If you know London, if you know a part called Hackney, there's a part of Hackney called London Fields. He built 12 apartments there, sold 8, he sold 8, kept 4. Then he came to me again, Pastor Matthew, lay hands on me. Where should I go again? After I laid hands the first time I built that, he said, where should I go again? I want to go to South Africa. Please pray for me. I prayed for him. Ladies and gentlemen, he went to South Africa, built 125 houses. Then he calls me, said, where are you, sir? I want to come to you. I said, I'm in Ghana preaching. He jumps on the plane and flies to Ghana from South Africa. He comes. He said, where should I go again? I said, look, I'm not your financial advisor. Go and meet your financial advisor. He said, you are doing better than them. Oh. So I lay hands on him, prayed for him. I said, go to Nigeria, your country. We call him Femi Osibona.
Again, may his soul rest in peace.
I understand why there's so much concentration on the developer of the property in question on Gerard Road, Ikoyi. But I think we'll stress the point that every life matters. I made a point earlier on about anxiety expressed by one of the family members that perhaps the rescue effort will end now that the body of the developer has been retrieved. But that should not happen. Under no circumstance should that happen. Every life involved in that tragedy matters. Now you've focused on the story of Femi Osibona. It's a grass to grace story. From selling shirts and ties, we were told he himself could not afford to wear at a time, to becoming a major real estate developer, from London to Centurion, in Pretoria, in South Africa, and then all the way to Ghana, to Nigeria, and all of that. And I made the point that, look, in all of these other places where he had developed property, no incident occurred. Perhaps, are there some lessons we can draw from that? Could it be that in those other countries, UK, US, that maybe higher standards?
No, Abati, you missed something now. In the report, they said that in America, where he built houses, about 4 apartments collapsed and insurance paid. And you remember that in America, before insurance will pay for any building collapse, because you have building insurance, not, content is different, but only building, right? Investigations must have been carried out. The mixture, cement mixture, structural engineer, whatever, will be checked. So it's not about Nigeria. You see, what I'm trying to do, I want none of you to not to get confused. I'm not siding anyone. I'm not siding government, neither am I siding the private sector. What I'm here to do is to bring, while I'm suspecting something might have happened, but also I would not ignore the other side to say that something like this can actually happen. And I'll share a video with us where something, a collection of videos where something like this had actually happened in those countries we'll call first world, second world, or whatever. While I'm not exonerating this, I don't know how people who actually, because these are 3, buildings. I don't know how people who will be living in the one standing, how they will feel, whether they will be thinking. Honestly, I struggle to find out how they would actually, manage to ever live there, knowing that the other ones actually collapsed. So what I'm going to do, let them finish. I would bring other videos showing that buildings can actually collapse, because sometimes it appears that without letting investigation, sometimes I'm actually tired, because the whole point is, if we have investigations that can act swiftly, publish their report, people can now understand why actually this happened, because there is a reason why it happened. Like I said, it could be sabotage. It could be that the ground moved, because Lagos, many of you who know people who built, my friend built a house in Aja. Listen, for 6 months, this guy was feeling. You know how they made his sockaway. His sockaway, they had to cast cement 4 square out. So they are now digging the square they casted will be going underground. And there is a pump, water pump generator, pumping out water while they are digging and doing all these things in Ajawu. So if you understand this, you understand that, and these are done by local people. I do not know how structurally, in engineering they are, or how solid they are to actually I don't know. So if anything happens tomorrow, it could be that as a result of some things not being adhered to as well. But where you have someone who has built in across some continents, across the continents. He has built in America. He has built in Europe. That's the United Kingdom. He has built in South Africa. So coming down here, and this now happened, what exactly happened? That is what we should be demanding from Lagos State Governor. Do not sit there in Sokoto watching me or sitting on it or watching me thinking, no, it doesn't matter. No. In project management, I know I majored in risk management. One thing we learn in risk management is you need to record risk. Lessons learned in one project and the risks from your risk log and register could be very beneficial for other projects for you to actually look at it. Okay, this is a likelihood that this thing is going to reoccur or it's going to occur. Then you start ahead of time. A building collapse research and investigation that happened in Lagos could actually save thousands of lives in Anambra, Imo, Zamfara, Ebonyi, Oyo, Sokoto, even to Niger, even to Mogadishu or whatever, Morovia. I don't bloody care where. But the point here is that nothing is just left for, just like the other day, I saw Mountain of Fire building, catching fire. And people were just doing, and the building is catching fire. We are common sense application of whether you be Satan worshiper. Holy Ghost fire couldn't stop the fire from going on. All you needed at that point is technology. Get the damn fire, people, extinguisher, whatever it is, and stop the damn fire. That is called science. We must begin to open our brains. Okay? So that's why investigation of this and demanding that the report, professional report, be made public in order for lessons to be learned. Don't laugh too much.
Developers are kept to higher standards. How did the standards suddenly fail in Nigeria? This was not the first property we developed in Nigeria. On Mosley Road, in that same Ikoyi area, he has a block of apartments that he also developed. That did not collapse. Why did this one collapse? Where is the omission? And, well, it's good that the Tribunal of Inquiry has been set up, and they will be able to come up with a fact.
See, again, that's what my problem with Nigeria. This case is not a case of Tribunal of Inquiry. We must move away from this military hangover in our brains. When a plane crashes, there are investigators. That is their job. When a building collapses, there are people. That is their job. Not tribunal. Tribunal are ad hoc, military. Remember, growing up under military era, they're what they call sanitation tribunal. They will be moving around with Peugeot 404 pickup. Those Peugeot 404 pickup, or some of them move around with Datsun. That Japanese Datsun, mainly white or blue. They will be moving around with them. They call them mobile court. Sometimes I think maybe those are quacks, actually. Military will be using them. They catch you are not cleaning the house. They will drag you into the mobile court, find you there and all that. Now, it appears we have taken that same military hangover and bringing them into civilian thinking. That is, that's not correct. That's not right. There ought to be a set of people professionally. That should be their job. Doing all the best, going in and attending the best state-of-the-art training globally, understanding global best practices, being ready to utilize them at home whenever such occurs. But again, I won't be surprised tomorrow to stay, and hear one pastor say, they revealed me in the dream that this building was going to collapse. And I called this in, and the other was in the other group waiting. And you see, none of them saw it coming. Nobody said anything. Even the man himself, the owner, you can see where they said he was going to Asimowaju or whatever it's called. He was praying, go to South Africa, go to Nigeria. And he's in Nigeria now. We've seen now that the rest is history.
Again, he was a man of God. Okay, we were told that he was even at a point a pastor, a very spiritual person.
Yes, I've seen some videos.
If there are errors on his own part, that then takes us to that old argument earlier in the week about, Pastor Kumuyi, responding to statements that have been made by Bishop Dayo Ashaju. And the whole point that, if I recall correctly, that Pastor Kumuyi was making, that is that, look, you can't be a saint on Sunday and be a monster on Monday. In other words, Christians are required, according to Pastor Kumuyi, to keep to the highest standards. But there are other persons, who are involved in this that we know. A gentleman called Wale Bobu Sini, who was on his way, we were told, to the airport. And then his friend called him and said, oh, come and see this property that I'm developing. And his driver turned, and they came to that Ikoyi, and he also reportedly died in this particular tragedy. Imagine that, that's how life is. He had a different destination.
Absolutely.
Something changed his course, and then this happened. There's also the story of the young lady, Onyinye, who had only spent 1 week as a personal assistant to Femi Osibona, and he was planning to marry next month, 26 years old, and then our story ended within 1 week of taking on a job. There was also the story of a young man, 16-year-old, who came from Abuja to come and, work, maybe just to earn some money. And then he also died in that incident. So what we're dealing with...
I don't think they have found the bodies of those 3 people you just mentioned.
But we were told that they were involved.
They were involved,
because family members have not seen them, and they've camped out there, including the driver of Bobu Sini.
Yes.
Okay, that is life. Nobody knows tomorrow. But every effort should be made to ensure that the persons are properly identified, and that, every family is provided the necessary support that they require at this moment of trial, for them.
Well said, Dr. Batib. Rufai, your take on the story.
So for me, the sad part is my commiserations to the families that have everybody that died in this, because this is a national tragedy. Hence, we're having the 3 days of mourning. But the shocking reality is that Nigeria happens to all of us. In all of this, I asked a question earlier. We'll set up another panel of inquiry. Are we going to learn? What did we learn from the building collapse on Lagos Island?
But Rufai, before you even go to Ireland, you see, I think we think alike much here, Rufai. One, I have issues with the panel of inquiries. This is not, I don't know, sometimes many of you who have lived abroad, or many of you in the diaspora, I believe you understand this. There are professional bodies. For aircraft, I think they are called accident investigation, either bureau, whatever. I mean, this is their job. What they do is to research day and night which aircraft or what. But this building now, I bet you this building collapsed. Those that will sit on the panel of inquiries are those that will be talking about interested in their sitting allowance, in their travel allowance. You will not be surprised to read tomorrow from the papers, oh yes, that there was a car that was provided for their running around, and maybe running around car allowance. And everybody is now fighting, rather than go do the job, everybody is now fighting to dye the car, how they will dye that car after their job has expired. Rather than institutionalizing things that if something happens, this is the people with the knowledge who should be able to come up and say this is exactly what happened, so that lessons will be learned. But again, ad hoc. Why our life? It's like maybe in Okreka the do us this. Maybe in Okreka. I explain. Growing up, we buy Okreka brazen. We buy underwear brazen. We boys, we buy boxer brazen. Tie, Okreka. This one, Okreka. Boxers, Okreka. Whatever we buy. maybe over time, because those okrika are ad hoc. So now growing up, being an adult, everything is still okrika in our brain rather than go buy mint. That's why nobody averagely rather buy used car from America rather than go buy Nord, produced in Nigeria, N-O-R-D, produced in Nigeria, or Innocent, produced IVM, produced in Nigeria also. And the same thing, we move them, everything that happens to us, okrika, equals for me, ad hoc. That is probably what is happening to us.
Nothing. Are we going to learn anything from now? I doubt it.
Please, go get your
we don't
drink.
even know the
Join me
correct
here.
permission given. Is it 15th floor, 21st floor? I've seen all sorts of documents. Today, we don't even know the structural engineer on site.
Exactly.
Does that mean we have learned? No, because how can a building like this be going up and by today we don't even know the structural engineer that worked on the site?
It's unacceptable.
So
really.
The sad part is, like I said yesterday, no matter how almighty you are, the things we keep talking about in this country affect all of us. Your money can't save you. Because even if you think you have the money to get the best luxury, you might see that somebody not doing something right somewhere will affect you. Something as easy or as small as not even writing a manifest before you enter is a building site, which is supposed to be the prerequisite. But today in Nigeria, or the people enter public transport, they get into buses. Do they write manifests? No. So that's the kind of country we live in. We leave everything to chance, and we think God, the miraculous, will save us.
Well, I hope.
Profile, God is busy. I think God actually is in Dubai. Either he traveled on holiday, either God traveled to Dubai on holiday, or he saw that they are busy, they are doing well, so he's there helping them. For Nigeria, nah, I think God is put us on auto voicemail. So whenever we call, it goes directly to voicemail. That's probably what's happening.
Hope this becomes a learning
but
experience for everyone.
But I think this becomes a learning experience.
Absolutely.
If we only choose to learn.
Okay. We'll take another story. Babagana Zulum, the governor of Borno State, on Thursday revealed that he uncovered a fraudulent scam at a government hospital in his state. In an interview, the governor...
You see here, I will use this guy as a clear indication of why people should vote in an election and not to boycott. This guy from nowhere, he was a commissioner. If the election was allowed to be rigged, Babagana, that's the Zulum, will never be governor of Zamfara State. He's a professor. Sorry. Governor of Borno State. Sorry. Let me drink something. Now, but this guy, and that's one thing, that's where Buhari, Osibanjo, all of them failed at the federal level. Spot checking. This guy does something that every leader, even you as a father in family, you do spot checking. Me, I do. Sometimes if my child is too quiet in a room, it becomes a suspect. You spot check. That's what you do. You open the door by force. What are you doing there? Are you reading your book? And suddenly you see somebody playing games. So that's part of it. But here, we have somebody, he cannot go for spot checking because it appear to go. Somebody, he tell you, I will lead you from the front. But when he reach, they go. They say they go front. They go. The person, they go like
Our
this.
economic is doing like this. It's doing like this.
So, anyway, that's by the way. That's me. I'm not drinking water, so you pardon me. Don't worry. Reason why we do Friday Hangout is that it is a crime. If you're watching Maazi on Friday Hangout, you're not drinking anything, even if it's water. Because from here, at least, because Bible said, if you believe you make it happen. So I come from here, make your water turn into sweet wine, sweet wine. That's all I can tell you. So let's listen to what Zulum did here.
Said while visiting some hospitals unannounced, he discovered officials collecting between 8,000 to 10,000 naira from patients for services meant to be provided free of charge. The governor said the officials turned the government health care into a private hospital, and for that reason, residents who cannot afford the services have deserted the healthcare center. Zulum decried that the healthcare center had only one medical staff on ground to attend to patients, despite having 29 health workers on the government payroll. The governor said he has directed the Borno State Primary Health Care Agency to thoroughly investigate and identify all the culprits to take appropriate disciplinary action. I mean, this state, Borno State, with all the problems that they face, this is what our healthcare officials are doing. It's so appalling, Tundu Abiola.
We need to protect Governor Zulum at all costs. That man is doing the Lord's work as far as I'm concerned. You'll recall that he went to school and uncovered all manners of...
Listen, many of you may disagree, but listen, this is not about ethnic biases or ethnic hatred. Governor Zulum, I say, may Allah, may God, may Ahmadiyya, may Shongo, whatever he believes in, may Mumuye, whatever that is going to protect him, may that protect the governor. Because that guy has a heart of humanity. And you know one thing, humanity knows no boundary. Humanity knows no bound. Humanity knows no religion. Because it could be you, could be I. Here is someone who understands the job he ought to do. And he goes in there. When I look at him, I see not Museveni, what's it called? This guy that died recently, the bulldozer. Blind me. Remind me, the bulldozer, the African president that died recently of COVID. Anyway, somebody will obviously remind me that. So, what I'm saying in essence here is a man, and I don't want anyone on this platform to begin to talk anything, in averence or against him because from, bringing any ethnic connotation here. No, here, this platform, we talk about humanity, irrespective of color, creed, race, sex. It doesn't matter. We are all, cut me, cut yourself, cut him. Only one thing is going to come out, is blood. And that blood is universal. We can actually, even your enemy can donate blood to you to save your life. So when Tanzanian president, God bless, no, your dot. In fact, you failed this exam. John Magufuli, thank you very much, Chris Imadu. Thank you. Chris Imadu, your happiness more. And this one is talking about Mugabe died many years ago. I think you are not doing on your dot. Papa being on your dot. You're not doing very well in geography. The way I look at your eyes, you look like somebody that is only interested in Zahaza room, the geography of Zahaza room. So John Magufuli. So when I look at Zulum, I see John Magufuli in that, in his character. Magufuli was not called a bulldozer for nothing. Bonu is not actually too hot on receiving so many things. And Bonu is a place that is constantly, you know what it means to be in war front, where they, drop bomb from top in your state. And every night, you'll be sleeping like this, sleeping Mulan, because you don't know who is going to come. You'll be sleeping like this, like we do when we go and work overnight. We come to lectures. That's the way we stay in the class that time. And you're sleeping, you're just closing your eye like this so that the lecturer wouldn't know you're sleeping until your hand, this hand is a very untrustworthy informant, because suddenly the hand will fail you and it will drop. You do like this. So what I'm saying here is, when I look at Zulum actually does something that I do honestly appreciate. And I say, like Abiola said there, I said, may God protect him. Because if Nigeria has to work, because that's common sense, you need people, practical individuals can do practical things. Because he beats me today. Only once since 6 years, only once did Osibanjo enter the airport to know what was happening. And something actually, that was Lagos airport, and that's something actually happened afterwards. Buhari was in London for over 100 days. That time, there was no booklet. People were paying 250,000 pounds to get express appointment or to get booklet to them. The president cannot, for one day, even if it's for 10 minutes, walk in unannounced at the Nigerian embassy. You know that if a president walks in at the Nigerian embassy and they know that at any point the president can actually walk in, they will be, listen, that place, you will not even finish clicking submit your application and the application is already approved. That's all you need. I know during the time of Senator Chris Ngige, as the governor of my state, Anambra State, that time, Ngige, he will stop his convoy. Some people call it show, call it whatever you want. But one thing is that action that he took made a lot of contractors sit up their asses. What was he doing? Very simple. Fear. The next thing, everybody parts. Ngige, in his shortness, brings a nail that might be as tall as him. Pardon me. Ngige nwanne m nwoke onye ichie ibe nke wee egwu ka nna egwu biko mana ịma na itoro ogo for another nke. So he will bring 6-inch snail. You think he was joking? He will just do it like this. Pull it out, measure it where he sees red sand. He did it once, twice. So whenever he pulls out, you see Okada people. Everybody will come. All you'll be hearing is onwa, 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 onwa. But that helped. He gave the people the confidence that he was doing something. Call it showmanship. Who cares? But it worked. The contractors actually knew that the governor can pull up at your site any point in time. And that's what you need. Keeping people at their toes. If not, why do you have CCTVs? You have CCTV so that somebody wants to commit a crime. He looks at, oh, okay, maybe camera is there. And he starts behaving like Onyama Jehovah. But who cares? Even somewhere in the Bible, chapter whatever, it says, whatever you want to, whatever reason you want to preach, even if not to Walbasa, preach. The end thing is that the gospel must be preached. And that is it. And that's what you actually see.
Discipline. That was egregious enough with the future of the children being educated, being toyed with in that manner. But this is actually unconscionable. Exactly like you said, OJ. Does Borno State not have enough problems for this to now be added to the people? This is why I always try to resist finger pointing. Everybody bangs on about the limitations and the failures and the omissions, blah-de-da, of the political elite, which of course are glaring. But this is not the elite, this is not bandits, this is not terrorists, this is your average Nigerian doing in your fellow average Nigerian with the same struggles as you, the same issues as you, with the same rights to decent health care as you. And this is how we treat one another. So I think that we really need to look within a lot more and actually understand our role in the rot that this country is facing right now.
Absolutely. Dr. Bati, your comment?
Well, this is not an isolated case. Governor Zulum of Borno State, we're told, yes, has developed the habit of showing up unannounced, in disguise, to ensure performance. And in this particular case, this particular primary healthcare center that has 29 persons on the payroll, only one medical staff was available. Before then, as Tundun pointed out, he visited a school and met a similar situation. What is worse, in this healthcare centers that he visited is that services that were supposed to be provided free of charge were provided at a cost. So government wants to help the people, provide primary health care, but the medical personnel are using it to serve themselves.
Imagine that.
Now, compare this also to the case of the Controller General of Immigration, who visited the Ikoyi Passport Office and discovered that the cost for passports, either it is 24 pages or 72 pages or whatever, had been hiked. So passport officials, immigration officials were using that to make quick money, right? At the end of the day, the Controller General of Immigration had to move the heads of all these passport offices around, and it threatened to make sure that the affected officials will be sanctioned. But would that happen? As immigration sanctioned its errant passport officials. In some other states of the Federation, some governors, they go to maybe the secretariat very early in the morning and then ask latecomers to stay outside. So it's about the structure of the civil service in Nigeria and the commitment of public servants or civil servants to their work. They are called servants, but we have reached a stage in Nigeria, unlike the situation you have maybe in Bangladesh or in India or in some other parts of the world, where civil servants don't see themselves as civil servants. They see themselves as personal servants. They want to serve themselves, and they use the position that they occupy to enrich themselves. So this is part of the problem. If the service, the civil service, the public service in Nigeria, which is supposed to be the engine room of the state in terms of service delivery, is a place for ghost workers and moonlighters, then do you need any further explanation for the state of the nation, for the gross incompetence and inefficiency that we witness in terms of how Nigeria is run? This is our national dilemma.
Well said. Rufai, your analysis on this?
So I have iterated many forms, at reforming the civil service in Nigeria. One that comes to mind is the Singaporean model, where it's key performance indices based. So ministers are rated based on their performance, and they are paid more. So if you do better, you get paid better. But the question I ask in my head is, would it work in Nigeria? No, because the problem is culture. And the thing about strategy is, no matter how good your strategy is, culture will eat your strategy for breakfast. So the problem across board in Nigerian civil service is just that of culture. This is the same civil service you had the likes of Simeon Adebo serving, of stellar career, stellar excellence. Everything is done on point. It just goes back to show that there's a pervasive culture of corruption in this country.
The corruption is too much.
It's too much.
29 people are on the government payroll and only one person.
The shocking thing, Oji, is even if you pay them very, very well, they will still be corrupt. So how can we take that canker worm out? Just like customs. You saw what happened. The question is, it going to change? The custom one, Dr. Bati, particularly shocked me because when you go to the customs here in Ikoyi, in immigration here in Ikoyi, just by it, there's a federal government ombudsman and regulator called Servicom. That is just by the corner. And you will see a lot of collusion between Servicom officers and custom officers. And the government will tell you that, don't allow Servicom see you. And the Servicom knows that they are doing a racket there. So
unbelievable.
I'm tired for this country, but
well, like you said, we have to protect Governor Zulum. I think
yes,
he's
doing well.
Really amazing. Well, all right, we'll take another story. Reactions are trailing the cancellation of the sit-at-home order in the southeast by the indigenous people of Biafra. The group made the announcement on Thursday through its spokesperson, Emma Powerful, who said the sit-at-home order was cancelled after considering the genuine intervention of some southeastern stakeholders and to allow people in Anambra participate in the governorship election on Saturday, November 6th. The group warned supporters of IPOB against attacking voters in Anambra under the guise of enforcing the suspended sit-at-home directive. The group, however, maintained that they remain committed to the agitation for secession and called on the Nigerian government to give them a date for a Biafra referendum in order to decide where they belong. Well, let's take a tweet from Tunde, who wrote, "These folks are a bunch of jokers. History repeating itself." The same thing Kanu told his gullible followers prior to the 2019 presidential election. But he changed his tune 2 weeks before the election commenced. obviously, money has changed hands. Some of us know what time it is. In the meantime, as the Anambra governorship election draws near, amid fears of voter apathy, it appears some party officials have taken it upon themselves to encourage voter turnout, as we'll see in this video, where a man is seen giving out money and beverages.
You see, in Igbo we say, Ana wo ibi. Therefore, here are people you think everybody. But again, one sad thing that has actually happened is there is limit you blame politicians because the people themselves, their mind is already warped that they do also not believe that they can vote you without you dropping anything. In the last election of Anambra State in 2017, I'm aware, I won't mention the party, but this guy wrote extensive books. This guy understands what governance is. This guy knows things. But because he does not drive in convoy, meaning he hasn't stolen from you, he has great ideas. But even those that ought to vote him, everybody was saying, vote. Meaning, is it this person who doesn't have a convoy like others? Is this one who can't vote for him? So somehow, maybe we haven't actually understood what leadership is. Maybe we don't. Maybe, honestly, maybe we don't understand what leadership is. But before I dive in more into this, I promised us to share a video of building collapses also before we get into the other, come back to the issue of sit at home. So this is a collection of clips across the world of building collapses. Now, why I want to use this clip to close off that chapter is I honestly cannot tell us the reason why that building collapsed, but also let us not make it to be a Nigerian thing. Oh, that, yeah, Nigeria, everything building collapses. But again, some of the sharp practices we do, especially on private constructions. Someone made a comment here that when you give Nigerians job to do on a construction site, it becomes an avenue to be rich overnight. And yesterday, somebody told me something that I never knew happened. He said that, you know, you can bring, I remember when I was building a property in Nigeria, I actually went to Ekulobe, bought this 18mm rod, brought it home. When the guy that was the iron bender was working on the rod, you know, in order to bend the thing like 180 degrees, it will break. And I'm like, did I buy wood or rod? I said, okay, don't worry, maybe it's one off. He tried the second one. The thing broke again. Tried the third one. And in anger, I went back. I drove back to the shop. I said, listen, I'm not even going to pay for you to come and collect these metal wood you gave me, you know, and you have to refund me, or you give me the right thing. But, you know, in that moment of anger, do you know what he did? Because I was threatening to either get police or whatever, but the guy had to replace those 18mm rods with the real one. At least you can bend them even 360. It's not going to break. Now, yesterday I was told that sometimes even when you bring genuine materials, that your workers working there can come in with the fake materials and leave with the genuine materials. Now, who are you going to blame? Are you blaming the government or are you blaming the people? So no one actually knows how and why this building in Ikoyi, Lagos came down. Because Nigeria, sometimes we they do ourselves. Nigeria, they do us. We they do ourselves too.
On June 24th, 2021, a 12-story condo near Miami collapsed in a matter of seconds.
Now, this is Miami in America, so this is not in Nigeria. So maybe those ancestors, maybe those Babalawos also traveled to Miami.
Killing many residents. It is one of the deadliest building collapses in U.S. history. This is, unfortunately, not an isolated case of a building failing catastrophically. The Sampoong department store collapse in South Korea in 1995 is among the deadliest building failures. The building collapsed due to several structural failures, killing more than 500 people and injuring over 937 more. Since they are designed and built to stand the test of time, buildings don't fail frequently. So what causes buildings to collapse catastrophically? And are there any warning signs before a building fails?
Now, let's listen to this. I'm not a private investigator, but I'm trying to bring logic to the, a lot of senseless things that I think happen in Nigeria. Hence, I'm bringing this video to us. Let us actually look from the experts what causes such buildings to collapse.
Suddenly, overloading. Buildings are designed to support a certain maximum load. A building can collapse if there's more weight on a portion of it than the structure is designed to support. This can happen when the material's strength deteriorates over time. Overloading was one of the causes of a factory collapse in Dhaka, Bangladesh in 2013, in which an 8-story commercial building failed, killing at least 1,132 people. Material deterioration. Chemical changes in materials such as rust burst can cause buildings to collapse. Steel is used alongside concrete to add strength to buildings. But rusting steel can expand up to 6 to 7 times its original thickness. When embedded in concrete, this expansion can crack the surrounding structure. Cracks appear. Then rain and frost cause the cracks to widen, rendering the building unsafe. Ground settling. Buildings don't have to be very old to begin sinking into the ground. When a structure is built on unstable land, such as soft soil or marshland, the foundation can begin to sink shortly.
That's what I think. That's, either sabotage or this particular here. Knowing that Lagos is actually mostly a sand-filled area, it might be that the building actually maybe took some jump
after construction, and this gets worse with time. When a foundation fails, the building collapses from the bottom. In a high-rise building, this results in a pancake effect, where the upper floors slam down on top of the collapsed foundation. Design flaws. Buildings are typically designed with redundancies or alternative load paths. If one section of the structure fails or weakens to the point where it can no longer hold the building's weight, that load is redistributed to another section. Designs that lack such redundancies can lead to devastating failures of the entire structure. Natural disasters. A building may also collapse due to natural disasters, such as earthquakes, fires, or hurricanes. Earthquakes cause movement at the building's foundation.
Obviously, just to prove that point, obviously Nigeria is one of the luckiest nations on earth, a nation that has no anything like earthquake or anything. Imagine in Nigeria, maybe sometimes I think maybe God blessed Nigerians and Africans enough that we don't actually go through a lot of stress. Imagine earthquake happens in Nigeria a lot. Imagine snow falls in Nigeria. By now, a lot of people would have died out of pneumonia. Maybe our brains probably would have woken up. I don't know. Maybe because nature just gives us a lot of
Let's take a look.
Free of You see them? See them here. They are sharing money to buy votes. Now, the challenge here is they are sharing this money, and this must be condemned by every single person. However, people had I know some of you will say it's hunger, but people must not collect these handouts. Huh? Just cook, and maybe 1,000 or 2,000. Jesus.
You will voters card. You will voters card. Oh yeah, well. Thank you,
You know what the guy was saying? Unengwe voters card.
OG want to speak Igbo. So
some were giving 400 naira, some were giving I mean, come on, this is so
OG.
I mean, it sounds funny, but it's unacceptable.
OG, it's very honest, but that's Nigeria for you. I'm in pain.
You're in pain. In fact, I am in faint. What I saw now is nothing that I thought that these were things happening in the past, but I never knew that these things will happen in the pathetical.
You will be a past participant. Yeah. Hey! Ebu agomia. One day we go me. Say yesterday you are a past. So very soon you shall be past. Party. One day, say tickle. Say tickle.
Tomorrow, everything will be tickling tomorrow. Hey. Nigeria. Onye medola anyị even. Who did us this? You know, sometimes I don't know what to say. I was trying to find after the Arise TV debate, I was trying to find the summary of the conversations of many, of the participants. And the Arise must be very wicked because they did not produce, they didn't cut out the summary, at the end, where everybody summarized what they came out to. And I'm not going to mention them, but there was one candidate in that election who everybody was like, who the only candidate in that debate that didn't use his time. They will give him 3 minutes. After 1 minute 20 seconds, he will say, "Yes, I'm done," and they will move on. And I said, "Oh, wow." The only candidate in that election. But again, if you don't know the candidate I'm talking about, go and watch it. Not be my mouth, and I will hear say, "Father mess for this thing." Honestly, my people, make one of the ask, who did all these things? Who did all this? You see, and the challenge is these things are cross-board, across ethnic divides. It's not even a North versus South thing. I think it's the elite versus us. The politicians versus us. The Ndi Anazobos. And there are things I just see these days. I keep shaking my head. Let me see if I can bring, now let's come down to Anambra State politics proper. And people, let me see if I can get this for us. I think that should be the debate. Hold on. No, I think that's, let me see of this. And
to gain
like
access
happening in your environment, and he doesn't not a leader.
Verify that.
Now, I said he's a manager, not a leader, like I said, and I mean it.
Sorry, project. Please.
I said he's a manager and not a leader, like I said, and for you.
So people, they are talking about a manager and a leader, but I think if you ask me in fairness, what Anambra State need now is, yes, there have been some gains. We need to consolidate on the gains, and Anambra State needs now a leader who can think, who could assemble a team, and who could assert his Anambraness and Igboness amongst other ethnic nationalities within Nigeria. A person who could not look at the president and take away and maybe lock his head down. No. A person who could look the president eyeball to eyeball and say, "Mr. President, with all due respect, I reject that offer. This is what we want. Now, amongst these people discussing here, the top contenders, if you haven't voted, if you are from Anambra, please, if you're not from Anambra, don't vote. If you haven't voted, you can quickly head to my Twitter page. You will see the votes there heading. I think maybe around 4,000 people have voted. So let us vote, and after voting, so that we can know that we have done our civic duty, and after doing our civic duty, we will be happiness more.
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm happiness, I'm voted, yeah.
Tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we're happiness more, isn't it? So
inshallah, but I disagree with my good friend Musa. I am not voting so they can do what they want, and when they want, and inshallah, our happiness more. Musani, I am going to vote tomorrow, because if you do what you don't want, I will tell me, so say, you know, do what I don't want. If he do what you not good, if they come here, he go call you for phone. Kai, make it a quam for Njenje. If he never agree, the quam for Njenje, make it tell it the whole what it happening. He go angry with me. So if they vote tomorrow, Kagani, because the people, if they call me for Peter Obi, he don't do the good, he don't do. If they call me for Abiana, he don't build me for effort. He don't finish me for effort. Fully, they come. So we need somebody where go sell me for that effort. Never vote me somebody, you go sell me for effort. You go vote me somebody, you go fit me for effort for international. If they go from American in Kagani with the Amaria, with my children, if they come for Anambra skate. Kagani, I understanding. Forget poverty. Poverty is a thing of the mind. Please, we must vote somebody who understands what is at play. Let's not vote somebody who would sell us. We must vote somebody with ideas. Ideas, they say, rule the world. Ideas rule the world. Ideas, where it is for my head. Kagani idea, it rule me for what? The economy for Nigeria, it don't fasten me for Sano. It don't fasten me for cow. Nigeria economy is not a cow. We must come out. A vote is the count. Our vote, it will come to me for tomorrow. Make it explain. Why our vote, I will count. Because INEC, don't worry, I will see them for here. Tomorrow, make it a count for IPOB media, you will see everything. This one is not anything. You will see everything that happening here. Because tomorrow, we will do me for analysis. We will see people in the vote, with the look at me. The vote where the people in the vote me for tomorrow, if they go for Saba, inside the somewhere. It's not in 2019 where it don't finish election. FEC are telling me, Akoi Saba, I know there. Saba, I know there. But when it fit money for make it a collect for election, I put me for Saba. You finish election, you go quat. Saba, I know there. Put in Nigeria, so if in Nigeria, it never do you, it don't do me. Nigeria, it don't do you, it don't do me. It don't do me. So let's make it
to be a leader, you must know what is happening in your environment. And he doesn't know. He's telling me.
Hi. Soludo, they're telling me here, I said, Soludo, you never know what you need to happen in Anambra State. Soludo, why you never know anything?
He met me in the villa. How can you meet me? Meet me in the villa. I wake up with the president, sleep with the say I'm a domestic staff.
What? They say you're a domestic staff? I never want call me for one state where some people, they come for domestic staff. But you na domestic staff. You na somebody, Soludo, this Soludo na native professor. They call you may shoe shiner. Cut your mouth, I know good. Your mouth, you know good.
Domestic staff for the president. Yes, I'm a domestic that clean the president's shoe. That's what you said. Well, he's alive today. We will tell you. He comes in to use someone to see what can happen. You call me all the time. My brother when they made you CBN, what do? You came to my house to say thank you. Igwe abdicated, they are alive. 5 Igwes came to say thank you to the president for making Central Bank on. He said, no, you thank this person, not me. Because he's still alive. How could you be saying what you're saying? So I came from the US without a certificate to come and work for us. You think it's easy? You think it's easy? You think it's easy to do so? That's what happened at the end today. It's to show you the type of person you are.
Silence, please.
To show the type of person you are.
President Obasanjo is alive.
Yeah.
Please, the APC candidate has the floor. Professor Soludo, allow him.
It's to show the type of person.
APC candidate, please face the camera this way.
Now, he says he sleeps and wakes up with Obasanjo. How can he say that? He sleeps and wakes up with Obasanjo while I live in the villa. You live in the villa. He doesn't live in the villa. And you're telling me that you see Obasanjo money, see Obasanjo. It's only when you have you're allowed to come in, you come in. You say you come every morning. Who started the praying?
You know, watching this, I felt sad because this was a clear departure from the issue at hand. Who cares? Who give a hoot if you sleep with the president? I don't care if you sleep in his bedroom. Who cares if shoes are polished? Who cares if you were the economic minister then? What at this junction we needed was to say, these are tangible things we will do in a month, in 2 months, in 3, 6. You guys have had enough time to have had such plans. What are the plans you have within 6 months of winning the election, being sworn in? What are the plans that you can tell us that you can put in place before December 2023 that my siblings, my brothers, my sisters, my families living all over the world can actually fly into Anambra State? Anambra State International Airport will serve the people of Kogi. It will serve the people of Benue. It will serve the people of Anambra, serve the people of Imo, serve the people of Enugu, serve the people of Delta as well. But we are not talking about this, and here we are talking about, I mean, honestly, I think, watching it for the second time to the third time, I felt a little bit disappointed because I had expected the elevation of the conversation. You know, as they say in debate, when they go low, you go high.
In the villa, who started it? Did you start the prayer? Did you start it with?
Listen, it's, when an adult loses argument, you hear something like so silly as, oh, who started prayers? Who has prayers helped? Sorry. Who? In that sense, spirituality is a personal thing. Make me the president of Nigeria, I'll remove the mosque there. I'll remove the chapel, chapel or whatever. Remove 2 of them for Christ's sake. None of them is indigenous to us. What kind of rubbish is this? There are houses you see in Lagos, 3-story building, all the flats, all of them are churches. Yet, go to any of those churches, leave your telephone on the floor, go to the toilet and come back and see if you see that telephone again. These things are distractions. Whether who built church, who started chapel, and so what? Yet we can't remove our hands from the cookie jars, right?
You didn't. You came in as an interloper, trying to find out how you will be there, to see how you come close to the president. That your center bank. I want to address the issue of the child care, the educational thing. Now, I built a vocational school in my My village, a big vocational school, handed over to the state. They refused to use it to train these children for vocational work. They refused to use it. Today it's there right there, big vocational school that was refused.
You see how things waste. A vocational school was built, they refused to use it, and nothing was done. I mean, I don't know why they're not picking up all these details. Listen, in 2006, started 2006, in 2007, I built a school in my community. As the school was so dilapidated, right, that the school, the number, according to the record I had at that time, reduced to 107. 107. People ran away from the school. But when schools was renovated, made conducive for kids to come back to school, sit like human beings to study. What happened? From 107, I have the record from what the principal sent me. The school climbed to 511. Now do the maths. And here we are, vocationals. For Christ's sake, what was the plan before even the foundation of that vocational institution was laid? And these are things we should be, not just building structure for structural sake.
They refuse to use it. So what are they doing? The educational system has collapsed in the state. And he is part of advising the government here. Why can't you advise them well on what to do?
Thank you. Well, candidate of the PDP now, you have a chance when you give your closing remarks, 2 minutes each. But before then, Valentine Ozigbo, do you have the experience to do this job?
I have the best of experience for this job. Let me again recount. I am a child of grace who has done exceptionally well in anything, any endeavor. I rose from the grassroots, grew up in the villages, and eventually became the best in everything I've done. Secondary school, university, I made the best result in the department, best result in the faculty, became a chartered accountant, and became a fellow of the institute, a fellow of the Institute of Credit and Administration of Nigeria.
Okay, no be for mouth. No be everybody will go secondary school, they be SP. But for you, from primary, secondary, university to be SP, they born SP, is to show you the quality of mind. There is something Reverend Cooker said in Bishop Cooker said in Obadiah Melafia's burial today that really got me. That part struck me. He said that nations cannot be built by illiterates because it takes a lot of mental work. Then you think about it. Think about great nations. Who were those that built them? They were in cucumbers and carrots. So when we just oppose these things, I'm just looking at it. I mean, people, INEC couldn't come to me now. I'm not trying to influence anything, but I'm trying to give us the last minute analysis of what we are going to be dealing with tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a chance, we have an opportunity to say, this is what we demand. Sometimes I tell people this. The only reason in 2014, in the last minute, I agreed to support Goodluck Jonathan was the condition that if by May 29th, 2016, which is 1 year after being sworn in, he did not start the implementation of the confab report, he would have seen a massive mobilization of Nigerians globally to deal with him. Only that. Vote for people. Do not only, even if the candidate you want wins an Anambra State election tomorrow, you have just started the journey. We must now enter the forest and begin to look for the Mbajara and begin to look for the Akanyans. We must begin to get our Cameroon peppers, begin to rub it on the Mbaja, which is the cane, because we must begin to engage the Mpiawazo, not physically, but metaphorically here, that once they take over, we must not allow them to rest. Those things that they promised in the manifesto, I do have a storage where all their manifestos are stored in PDF, the same way I stored President Muhammad Buhari's APC manifesto of restructuring. He has already denied it. The one he called my covenant with the Nigerian people, I still have it in my archive, but he has denied it. My 100 days in office, he has denied it. All of them, those that agreed to come on this platform that I interviewed, I have the recordings because I asked you what you will do in 100 days. I will be paying everywhere, all the radio stations, TV stations. 100 days, I'll play it. This is what you said, you have started failing. We must change the game. There was a city in Russia that had potholes everywhere. You know what they did? They became creative. What they did was they got fine artists who can draw. Wherever they get to the pothole, they draw the face of the, they use a spray paint. There are people who spray paint they use in graffitis. There are people who use spray paint to do marvelous artwork. So these guys, they came together using their talent to fight the politicians, but in a different dimension, not confrontational. But when you're now driving on the road, suddenly you see your mouth. I'm just imagining Lai Mohammed. How his mouth will be O like this, in a big O pothole. And with his spectacle like this, with his satellite dish ear like this. Yeah? And what we would even say, we would try that. What we will even try to do there is to now say, Oga, we will begin to look for his grandson, who told him that something.
When my 7-year-old grandson called me and said, Grandpa, tell me the truth. Why did they call you Liar Mohammed? I looked at him. What do you say to a 7-year-old son? How do you explain politics to him?
Now, imagine the 7-year-old is not only asking a grandpa, why do they call you Liar Mohammed? Imagine if the 7-year-old begin to ask, Grandpa, oh, I can see Grandpa being drawn on the floor in a pothole. Grandpa, kilo happen. Grandpa will say, leave it, it's the opposition. But at least the opposition is doing it where the roads are bad. We can begin to plant plantations and maize overnight. Just go and grab the ones that we already put in a pot to grow, and we plant them. Go put it there. Amansi, there was a place, I remember when I reported on that road, 2018, there was a place when the Buhari government was telling us Enugu on Onitsha Expressway was being done, blah, blah, blah. And on the WhatsApp, they were just making everybody look like, oh, these Igbo people, they're not even being grateful. I drove myself, as usual. I parked my car. There was one that looked like an Olympic swimming pool. Still had water into it. On it, water. And I videoed it. I sent it to them and said, Lucy, this is how good the Enugu Onitsha Expressway is. Because we have swimming pool here. But one thing we might do the next time is, get to such point, we'll begin to get maybe Iroko tree, plantain, banana, everything, and go and plant it there. So we'll see how we'll start cultivating, isn't it? Tomorrow time, Kuma said, now to go bring grass for cow, plant it there, and go and bring cow. Let them come at the road that they are meant to have finished. Let them come there and graze till they are filled up. Because we must tomorrow in the Anambra,
taxation of Nigeria and also professionals, became worked in banking for 17 years, became best staff in different banking institutions, became CEO of Transcorp Hotels, where it became the best business hotel in Africa, and I was voted the best CEO of the year in the world. In Spain and in Greece, I was voted Hospitality Man of the Year, but in different years, and eventually became the president of Transcorp Group. What this job requires is not just the youthful experience, but the versatility from power to oil and gas, to agribusiness, to sports, to entertainment, to hospitality, to business development. And these are the things I'm coming to bear with. And even more importantly, I am that person who, if I don't know, I accept that I don't know. And I go to the right people, build a powerful team, and we'll get to know and start doing it. There's never one person who thinks he knows it all. And that's what we should watch out for. There's no, once you're not humble enough to accept, and you bring that arrogance that I know it all, then you're not even fit for this job, because you can't know it all. It's impossible. I can tell you.
No clapping, please. Thank you.
I agree.
No
I agree
clapping,
with that
audience. Please. Thank you. You have been well behaved so far.
I agree with that.
Let's do so to the very end of this debate. Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, let's have your 2 minutes closing remarks.
Boy, no matter what you say about Professor Charles Soludo, I agree with what Valentine Mozibo, who incidentally a good friend of mine, said here. And many of you may be wondering, who am I supporting? I have many horses in this race. But what I'm telling us is not to influence your decision as to narrowing it down to a particular person, but I can tell you that we have good candidates in this race. But in selecting them, do not select anyone that has the tendency to mortgage the future of you and I and the future of our children. Do not select anyone who cannot look. I keep emphasizing this because what we have now in the Igbo nation, with the struggles, with the perceptions we have within Nigeria, we need people who have the intellectual sagacity to understand and to contextualize, and to be able to really look in deeper and give, because leadership is about direction. We need a transformational leader in Anambra State, a transformational leader, leaders that can think in abstract. This thing doesn't exist. Leaders who can imagine, okay, how do we make this happen? If it took 15 years to build Dubai, how can we make impact in 4 years, in 8 years, in 6 years? We need leaders who should be thinking, how can we mobilize the people, the diaspora community? Remember, the diaspora, what they remit back home is more than what the whole, the national budget of Nigeria. Therefore, yet they do not have voting powers. Today I was discussing with somebody, and we're talking about even electronic voting. Why is it that we do not have a single state in Nigeria, when they do local government election and other elections, that can allow people the same thing they blame the federal government of not doing, saying, okay, my state, I want to make we vote with telephone. If we can get 40% of the people vote through whatever phone, and it's very simple to do. Make sure that anyone who has voter's card is linked with BVN. BVN, one number, voter's card, one number. You cannot, there is no way you can rig it. You cannot, if you want to vote with your telephone, your voter's card must be linked with BVN. That's it. It locks it. It locks your ID. Because today, no one could open bank account in your name because it must be linked to a BVN. And today, CBN can actually, with one BVN, they look at. That's how they got the Femi Kayode the other day, during the time of Ayo Fayoshe in Ekiti, when they blocked his account with the fair lady he married from Nanka, because they blocked the BVN. So all accounts associated with that BVN, even the one of his wife. So he goes to bank to withdraw money. In the words of Osofia, Beagle will be blowing up everywhere. At the end of the day, that's it. That's it, people. So no state, you see, the things the states criticize the federal government of not doing, they're very incapable of doing. The only state you might not like the governor, but hey, that guy is not daft upstairs. That is the Kaduna State governor. You know, there might be other things he does that I don't like in terms of being a fanatic in certain ways that I don't want to get into here. That's my perception, and that's my perception. I owe it myself. You might disagree, but that's my perception. But apart from that, that guy has something upstairs. He is only state, but again, people can say at what cost, that has electronic voting in Nigeria. What even the federal government cannot do. Are you surprised that in Nigeria there is a state that can vote electronically? It happens.
And if you can, within maybe one or two things I said, that would be awesome. But you have 2 minutes for your closing remarks, gentlemen.
Before he says this, I think Avinu Chai. Yes, Avinu Chai said somebody, oh Maazi, Naman create tech, Naman go still circumvent him. I agree with you, but from your comment, I don't believe you understand blockchain technology. Blockchain technology, where many cryptocurrencies are built on, that makes it that it is impossible to rig. Because when you want to, Bitcoin is basically code, for instance. All the altcoins, all the coins you hear, cryptocurrencies, they are code. So you hear, I have one Bitcoin. No, you don't have a physical coin. So you basically have that particular code. And you know what? Those codes only exist once. You can't change them. So if you don't know, I've looked into it. I want everyone watching me now, afterwards, just try this. Google blockchain electronic voting. Blockchain. Block as in block, BLOCK, CHAIN, blockchain electronic voting. You will see that where these experiments have been done and where nations have tried it, I think one of the nations is, I think it's Estonia or so. So you see where they've tried it, it worked for them. What we have to know is, I am not a believer when we shoot ideas down. Oh, it's not going to work because it's Nigeria. Are you aware that Nigerian banks are more technologically advanced than most of the European and American banks? Yet, it happens in this Nigeria where we are. Nigerian banks are more Go to America, you go to party, waykeeping. People are still dragging checks. I haven't touched check in the last over 10 years. I don't know what check is. What am I using check for? I have my telephone. But in America, people are still dragging check, writing check. And you go to UK, people have £50. Somebody will write check, give to you. But in Nigeria, people make payments with code. They tell you hash, whatever, star, 121, star, hash, combination, the blah, 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 it goes. Even a woman with ajuku selling crayfish, it does it. Yeah, honestly, it's one of the technologies I haven't really, because obviously I've bothered not to learn it because I have applications that is much easier to. So what I'm saying in essence is, if there is the will, we have men with the capacity to make it happen. Is it not in Nigeria that operated on a pregnant woman with a baby, cut the belly, removed the baby, operated on the baby, a premature baby, put the baby back again, sewed the tummy, the baby survived. The mother gave it birth to the baby. That means born twice. The baby was born again, born twice. Nobody on this planet Earth was able to do it. It was done by a Nigerian. Is Philip Emmanuel from where? Do you know that in Coinbase says that most of the apps, Coinbase is a platform that trades cryptocurrency. So most of the apps and API ever built on their platform comes from Nigeria. Yet these are people, that in the last 3 years, they didn't know what blockchain technology was. But the moment they learned it, they embraced it. Nigerians, we have not challenged them. We have challenged Nigerians, they will do wonders. That's why I was so mad when we were talking about useless Air Nigeria. Air Nigeria, the one that was launched in Fambro on PowerPoint, flew on PowerPoint, crash landed on PowerPoint, and all the money went. When they went to Bahrain to design the logo, how can you be talking about launching an aircraft, an airline? You never bothered to even register common domain. One small boy living in Yaba registered the domain. A day before, when the news came out that they were going to launch it, a night before, he registered the domain, airnigeria.com. So you ask yourself, what manner of people is this? But to challenge Nigerians in blockchain technologies, in NFTs, in whatever Nigerians are, they challenge them, they will give you, I mean, no technology is 1,000,000% worth, but at least you get to 99 point something, or 90, 98, 99% secure. What we have today is not even 60% secure. Ballot boxes. You see the magic that happened in Imo State. Took something in a hotel, thumb printed it. This is the way they are thumb printing it. That's what they were doing. Thumb printing, thumb printing, thumb printing, thumb printing, printing. See them. They were printing. Yet, everybody thought it was a joke. No, we know now this thing we are thumb printed in a hotel now. But again, when aeroplane started driving, the rest became history. Tomorrow, please, we want the aeroplane to knock engine. We don't want the aeroplane to fly. A word, in my world, is enough for the world.
Thank you very much. I think we started very well. And despite the hush-posh, talks about hospital, at least I am building one. Nobody else is building one. Roads, I've built 4.5 kilometers. Nobody else. I've adopted a school. Nobody else has done that. I am the person who is running for this office, my dear people of Anambra State. I offer to you my life. God has blessed me abundantly, traveled around the world, served the nation, and a grateful nation has rewarded me abundantly, honored me. I now want to, and with an excellent health at this stage of my life, I want to use the remainder of my years, days, only God knows what else is left. I want to use this to serve you people of Anambra. I don't need a penny of Anambra's money for my personal use. God has blessed me abundantly. I would devote every minute of my life.
Ijua flavor sigi ebidosi ona ato darling ikwubesi ona ato sweetie we can do this, we can do that, sweetie mgbe olu onu na omume ayanova there is no money. That one are composed by me. Copyright, MaaziEzeoke. Don't ever try to sing my song. Obidesiona, in fact, somebody named beat. Obidesiona, I could actually rap. Hey, Meggie, Obidesiona, Tofu, Kedivane, Quifu, Nana to election, Naneku, no election, no natural election. He can stay at home. Nah, okay, another way to make money. So people, I think I agree with Gary Brown here. So let's come back to the issue here. I agree with Gary Brown. He says that blockchain technology is the best. I mean, there are technologies to use, but again, if you understand that, oh, thank you very much, Lord Michael. So maybe my rapping brought these, the first super chat this evening. Should the election holders propose who is your preferred candidate? You know what? I'm not going to tell you. I said it because I must retain my notoriety here, and I cannot say, but what I can do is we can actually have a quick, because remember the last time, remember who won. So what we can actually do is to have another quick poll, unless you want to go to bed. Some of you say, no, Madam is in the other room. Madam is wanting for me to come into the other room. So let's, let me, hold on. Uh-oh, what's happening here? I can't even find poll again. Sorry. Okay, so let me quickly allow us to vote. Please just bear with me a couple of seconds or minutes. But what I'm saying is there are technologies to help us, especially blockchain. I believe one of the things I keep saying to us, my brothers and my sisters, I plead to us, come out tomorrow to vote. After voting, whoever wins, we are not going to go to sleep. We are not go. One thing, the current governor of Anambra State, one thing, they don't talk to me. I don't bloody care. Because, when you keep putting their feet to fire. Remember, I was the first person that called the arrangement and the Anambra State Airport as of that time. The video is still here on YouTube. I called it Anambra State Airport that it was a fraud. No apologies, because it was at that point, because of the arrangement, the financial arrangement that was made for the construction of that airport. I said, and I said it was here, that it was impossible for us to get the $2 billion to build what they tagged at that time, Air Metropolis. And when I checked out the company in question and the individuals in question, I said, these individuals are not Chinese people, they were Filipinos. And I stand on those statements, and that this, for me, looks like a fraud. But thank goodness, eventually, common sense prevailed. Now, and that's what I want us all to do, that we begin to hold them to account in our own little ways. You, anytime you come out, you're going, say you come down to my state and you're going to your village, you have a phone. Record it yourself. All I want you to do, use your telephone. Come out. Put your phone in a landscape mode. Record it. Once you record it, send it to me with the story. We will publish it. We can't hold it back. As long as you watching me recorded it, we must publish it. Send it to us either by WhatsApp, by email. Many days, many people now, that's WhatsApp, sending videos on WhatsApp is the easiest thing you can do. It's the easiest thing you can do. What I'm going to do now is to allow Professor Soludo finish his statement while I set up this poll, so that all of us, thank God today we are not streaming on, for some reasons we couldn't stream on Facebook, but we are streaming only on YouTube, so that many of us here are watching me also from YouTube. And all of us, over 200 people watching now, but none of us has actually liked the video. I don't know why, people. Why? What's happening? So let's do this. While Soludo is talking, I'm going to set up the poll, and at 12, find time to also like this video. Thank you very much, and share within the add-on. Thank you.
Every day of the thing, I say, if I'm sworn in today, I'm running to Oboko the same day. Begin the revolution. Give me the opportunity. If you hire me, I want to mobilize the creative energies of the whole of Anambra people, home and abroad in diaspora. This is about leadership. I am the only one who has done it before, who has mobilized the country to achieve those things people thought were impossible. Did the banking consolidation the world said impossible, we got it done. The Financial Times of London describes Soludo as a great reformer, and the world has celebrated. The nation has acknowledged. And I think that is the one that we're coming down to. Now I am coming. Please. You've taken 1 minute of mine.
If we can't hear them.
Yes, you've taken 1 minute of mine. I think my dear friends, my brothers, I don't need to be, but I want to put myself up. Go through all the halls, and I am prepared to give it to you. That which I have done by adopting a school and giving over 1,000 kids life that they don't have. That which I have done as a teacher, the teachers obviously will be the pride of this place. And I think a new Anambra is on the way.
Thank you very much.
And we will get it done.
Candidates, quiet in the hall. No, I mean, we made this very clear that there should be no applause. Now,
no applause, no jeering, no cheering, please. You have been well behaved so far. Thank you very much.
Your 2 minutes begins now.
If elected as Anambra State Governor, I will build a coalition government. I will conduct the Anambra local government election in 6 months. I don't claim to be a professor. I bring people that will help us to develop the state. So if I'm given the opportunity, I will know what to do. I have an experience of 16 years, 8 years with the President of Nigeria, Obasanjo, 8 years in the Senate, in legislature. So I will be the right person to run this state that knows in and out of what is going on in the country and outside the country. So I thank you, and I pray in Anambra, go out on the 6th of November and vote APC. And that APC is the government in the center. This government has not helped us. Nkai is dead. Nkai is finished. We don't have Nkai. What have they done for us? Nothing. So we join.
Okay. So, people, you've had it from the candidates, a summary of that again. Now, let me take this question before we start rounding up. This question from Avinu Chai, who says that Avinu has a question saying, why does Anambra election come first? Okay, Anambra state election comes first because in 2003, Anambra state had election, and that election was rigged and was stolen by Chris Ngige and Chris Oba. You know, the story of the Godfather, which eventually led to kidnapping of a sitting governor. The court eventually wielded the big hammer and said election cancelled. So in 2006, Peter Obi came in, sworn in, obstructed the electoral cycle, which eventually flew in, affected Ekiti State then, when I think Fayose as well was removed. So these were now off-season elections. I think we'll have under Ondo, Anambra, Edo, when Oshomole was also off-season, when he came in also. So that's how these cycles actually started. Now, for every one of us watching me now, if you may kindly just exit the comment section, cast your vote. So the vote is on. We have 4 candidates in that vote. 4 candidates who think that obviously are tangible enough to probably win the election. So the candidates are Andy Uba of the APC, Valentine Mozibo of PDP, Professor Charles Soludo of APGA, and Senator Ifeanyi Uba. Oh, there was a mistake there. Misspelled his name, but Senator Ifeanyi Uba of YPP. So cast your vote. So let's see who is winning. We are 3 minutes into the vote, and we have over 200 people watching, but only 12 people have sent their vote. So don't tell me that the vote is already rigged, even here on Njenje Media. Everybody, please cast your vote. Even if you're boycotting the election, cast the vote in protest. Okay, cast your vote. If you cast your vote, I will make you happiness more, and make sure you're drinking something. And again, people, this is new month. Lord Michael, thank you very much for the super chat. So let's more super chat come in. Super chat. So we take comment. Let more super chat. Then if anybody if you want to join the conversation, today is a night vigil with a duo. If you want to sleep, you can go. So if you want to come into the conversation, let me share the link for you to come in. But conditions of coming in. If you come in, you cannot turn off your camera, and make sure you are in an environment that is lit. The way you can see my face. If I can't see my face, I will take you off that, please. If I can't see your face, I will take you off. So the link to join me here is now shared. The link to join me, if you click on it, it will ask you to authenticate yourself. So you need to authenticate yourself, and you need to join me with your name. If you join me with Mongo Park, I will know that a dead person cannot join me. If you join me with, we're talking about Mongo Park. There is a story that happened last week, over the weekend that cracked me up. There's this guy, he went to London, and he saw on a walkway, he saw like these small streams and rivers in England. He wrote a letter to their people, said that he had discovered a river here in England, and he named it one never funny name, And think about it, that was the way Mongo Park came. We saw the rivers, our ancestors, we are going there fishing in the River Niger, fishing, doing all manner of things, doing their sacrifices, getting water to do this, and suddenly somebody paddled canoe from England and came to Nigeria and said that he has discovered the river. No be juju be that. So people, you see, Onyenimo, you want to sell your vote, 3 bags of rice, 2 bags of okay, you know what? I'm not. I can't buy vote. I can't buy vote. Please, let's vote. Let's vote. So let me see if I can bring. Let me see if I can bring. I can bring on the vote here. Only 26 people have their vote already here. Only 26 people. Come on, people. We can do better than this. Okay. 26 people. Someone is joining the conversation. So who am I? Lord Michael. Who am I speaking? Lord Michael,
Yes,
you're welcome.
Yes, sir.
So where are you joining me from?
Presently, I am in Austin, Texas. I'm here for a convention.
Okay.
So I am happiness more to be here.
Have you voted?
Vote? No. You did not. I want you to put the 5th option.
Which one?
Boycott.
No. We can't boycott, please.
It's a choice. You don't know. That might be the winner.
Okay. So
you see, for me, I would say I do not prefer any of those candidates because it's just like a recurring death. Yes, this is Lord Michael.
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, I said to me, I do not prefer any of the candidates because it looks like a recurring decimal.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, yes. So I really don't know what to say. I wish we could have some fresh legs,
No, but I think, in fairness, I think Valentine Mozibo and Professor Charles Soludo are fresh. I mean, when you talk about governance, when you talk about ideas, when we talk about being fresh to the game, I mean, Val Ozibo hasn't contested anything in Anambra State, has he?
No.
So how fresh can somebody be? He was born in 1970, so he's still very young.
He has soiled his hand by allowing them use his name to go and be sharing. Is it 40 naira?
No. On a serious note, without sounding to be, to excluding him, like today, I will say something I said to someone today. In fairness, someone shared a photo, a picture today of his face on a matchbox. That's what we call matches in Nigeria. Now, if to ridicule someone or your opponent, it's something that is with 5,000 you can print and and use it at anything. But again, one thing you have to know is no party in this election will not, influence people to. You know why? You will lose this election if by any means no one is influenced. Now, pay attention, not induced.
No,
Even
okay.
in America, it does happen. In America, if you recall, during Trump's campaign, during the COVID lockdown, there were videos people were getting groceries from Republicans, and groceries, milk, egg, potatoes. For me, is it because that wasn't Nigeria? That's an inducement. In other countries, if you go to UK, you see somebody coming, they will now begin to induce you by the things they promise they will do for you. The only thing is that sometimes hunger in Nigeria reduces, sadly, our parents, our fathers, our mothers, to the point of, collecting these obscure menial stuff, that really makes one angry. So in essence, I think we have to bear in mind that we're not electing an angel.
Yeah,
even if you have a new nation today, listen, it is amongst the people that you cannot get an angel. So the question is, if you go to Dubai, the king, one of the hotels we were staying, for instance, they said they don't drink, but you see, if you go to the we are staying in what's it called, the tallest building, not the Burj Khalifa, tallest hotel. Now you go to the topmost floor, suddenly you see Africans, doing hookah's job. You see alcohol, so if you want to drink gin, if you want to drink whatever, you go there, that's where they sell them. And you see the same person come up there to greet people. It shows he's not an angel. But one thing that he cannot take away from him is that he's a man of idea. He's someone who knows, this is what I want to build for my people, for my generation, for the generation of my children yet unborn. And he did it. He transformed Dubai from what it was, a desert, into a masterpiece that people marvel on today. So that's my point, my brother. That's my point.
Okay. Maazi, I must tell you need to open a church because you make a hell of a pastor. You just convinced me to vote.
No, it's not about convincing you to vote, but you should. But you, Kuma, said that I have convinced to vote. I pay your tithe. If I have convinced you,
okay, I will happiness and fame more.
Pay your tithe.
So you see, okay, if I have to choose amongst those four,
yes,
and with my own perception, like, okay, before I make my choice, I will tell you something I told somebody today. A man came to pick me up from the airport, and we were coming and we were talking about Anambra politics, and it was like, you can imagine the insult that man is giving to our people, printing people's face on sharing matches to people. So I now told him that I prefer matches to money, to bag of rice. So any day the man is not doing well. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. So that you can burn somebody's house with matches.
No. My reason is, so any day the person is not doing well, you can give him his box of matches back and kick him out, instead of mortgaging your future for the next 4 years with something you cannot repay. And he was like, that's true. I said, so me, I even prefer matches to collecting 10,000 naira. And that money, he want to recoup his money back instead of him working.
But have you also considered this?
No.
People could actually collect those rubbish and still vote their conscience.
True.
Because at the end of the day, when I say these things, I keep asking if you cannot be induced. It's just that it's about hunger. I look at it, the political class have weaponized hunger. and using hunger to subdue the people. Hence, what you see. Because I can't imagine any of us standing in line to collect, even if it's 100,000. I mean, standing in line to collect. No. I mean, there was one picture that I shared about a year or two ago that violated me. That happened in Imo State. Our mothers were lined up in 2019 election. They were given 2 bars of yam and they raised it up like this as if they are just finished offering in the church. That picture violated me, and I'm like,
yeah, that's true.
This? Eh? Raise it up so that we'll see who you.
I know evidence.
Man, it's unbelievable. So it's only 34 people voted. 36, but 2 people withdrew their vote. So 34 people. 34 people, but Professor Soludo is leading in that poll.
Me, I want to vote twice because I want to share my votes. I wish if that is possible.
No,
I would say it's going to be between Soludo and Ralph Ozigbo.
Val Ozigbo.
I'm sorry, see, I don't even know his name. Valentine Ozigbo.
Valentine Ozigbo. Okay, so
both of them have really done landmark investments that touch the life of people. Not for somebody to come and say he has been in this person's government as what? As a kidnapper or as a philanthropist or as a project manager. You know, I think this time we should really be paying attention to details, not just message, not just this person is my friend and this person was the best man. No, you talk for yourself. If you have not done nothing, tell the people what you are going to do. That was one thing that was really missing. You know, these guys did not really make promises we can hold them to tomorrow. Most of they were doing were boasting and fighting each other instead of promising the people in details what they were going to do.
But you need to understand something. That's why I'm not a fan of such debates.
Yeah,
because you don't have time to drill. I interviewed many of them on one-on-one. So you have time, 90 minutes. You tell me something. You can drill in and you want commitment. These things are recorded. So what we need to get to is whoever becomes Anambra State governor, be rest assured that on this platform, after 6 months, we go back and cut out that part. He said this is, so it's not me, so that, we'll know that after 6 months, it's either you're lying to us. We'll bring the one Buhari said and bring your own. So let us now see who is actually telling us the truth.
Exactly.
That's my, if you ask me, I think that's a better way of engaging. Just like what I told Abia people. Oh, Maazi, you go to Ebonyi, you see what I say? Listen, I go to states where I believe there is something to show happening. For me, there is nothing to show in Abia except water, and Miligota and all the rest. But if you do serious construction, you don't need to invite me. So don't invite me. I'm going to come.
Of course.
Coming, I won't tell you when I will come. Jesus is when you are not expecting.
Yeah.
But
okay. I think I've answered your question. Before I go, I want to ask you one question. It is not pertaining to what we have discussed. This looks like a Bible question. But somebody asked me this question 2 days ago, and I started thinking that we are crazy, that anything they just tell us, we just swallow it, hook, line, and sinker. They said Jesus Christ fed 5,000 people, and he preached to them. Can you talk to 5,000 people for them to repent without microphone and speaker? And who counted the people?
Aggregation.
You see.
No, but no. Actually, you can speak to 5,000 people without. You can speak to 5,000 people without.
See, what the person was trying to say is that it's been long. We started stomach infrastructure. No, let me learn my point. That it's been long. We all started stomach infrastructure. That what everybody was concentrating on for generations was the 5 loaves of bread and fishes.
Exactly.
Nobody was thinking about logistics or any other thing.
And that's what the politicians are doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what they are doing is biblical. Was it Matthew whatever, chapter 14 verses 15-29. So go read it up.
You really need to open this church, Maazi.
Pay tithe first.
I know. Okay, I will be your treasurer.
Don't worry. When you pay, I go hold them first. Then we'll go look you, because people will get baby where they trim, so they look like e-money. Would they suspect them? They for the shop money.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Maazi. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
The government has failed to do its principal duty of protecting life or property of all beings inside its territory in Nigeria. And what happened, as I said, in Ekiti and Oshun, the number of military, police, other law enforcement agencies deployed to rig elections in favor of the ruling party, if those were effectively used in the northeast, the end of the insurgency could have been met.
Now you have
and what I'm saying, the bottom line is that the government is not serious about curbing the insurgency in the northeast.
Okay, people, this is Buhari. He's saying, before he was president, he made this statement in 2014, after the Ekiti state election, that the government took so much. Oh, before I continue, Ifacho, thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Sorry, not Ifacho. Onyenimo, thank you very much for the super chat. Now, if you listen to what Buhari is saying, that he was against soldiers, military, police, blah blah blah, being used in Ekiti state. Fast forward 7 years later, 35,000, as in the number 35,000 police men, security men, army, navy, blah blah blah, sent in Anambra state for one election. Now, where would they go? Let me put Buhari's argument. Again, let me bring Buhari in. I want to match his argument line by line.
The government has failed to do its principal duty of protecting life or property of all beings inside its territory in Nigeria. And what happened, as I said, in Ekiti and Oshun, the number of military, police, other law enforcement agencies deployed to rig elections in favor of the ruling party, if those were effectively used in the northeast, the end of the insurgency could have been met.
Now you have
and what I'm saying, the bottom line is that the government is not serious about curbing.
No, so the government is not serious. Now this is President Buhari before he became the president, criticizing the former president, saying that the former president sent so many security agents to Ekiti state. Remember, in Ekiti, PDP executed something where monies left Lagos, landed in I think Akure airport, where the former Minister of State for Defense, Obanikoro, was accused of bringing the one that flew in the money. And today, Obanikoro has joined APC, All Progressive Confidence. And true to the words of Adams Oshomole, the Viagra-mounted APC chairman, true to his words, his sins were forgiven.
Tony Ilwobe means I don't do bad. And in fact, once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven. Once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven. All your sins are forgiven. All your sins are forgiven.
So once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven. So this man eventually joined APC, Banikoro. All the things APC accused him of, and I don't hear anything. And there was this one that has short fuse. You know that one that liked fair women. He also joined APC. I think he once also told you that no, waiting over my dead body.
Which you stood for, and which perhaps some of the stands that you had is giving you this kind of trouble that you're seeing today, is in crisis right now.
Yeah.
Are you sticking with the party?
But of course, the PDP is my party. I will never leave the party.
You're never considering going back to the APC?
I would never. The APC, absolutely out of the question. Until kingdom comes, you know, until Jesus returns, that will never happen. I would never. The APC, absolutely out of the question. I would never. The APC, absolutely out of the question.
So he will never. Now, because he will never. Hey, Odumeje, come, please come. What do you have to say? Because I am speechless.
I have so many power. Le Baduse play Lamante. I have Abido Sheka. I have never touched those ones. I have Dabus Kabach. Yes. I have Ganduka Gandusa. Mbeg Iwalonios.
You know what? I think I am confused. So what I'm saying in essence, you see, this is what Buhari was saying. And these were people who stood the other side saying, no, why F is evil? This. Yet these men eventually, one by one, moved away from whatever they were or wherever they were. And I will ask myself, finally, now here we go there. We are becoming, we will be marching on the street. Now car will go there, our party. Attention! So finally, we will receive sense. So, but we must cure this madness. So what am I trying to say? In all this, here we had Buhari who said that sending, Kingsco, thank you very much for the super chat. For the super sticker, Kingsco, thank you very much. So here we have Buhari, you just paid your tithe. So Michael, you haven't paid your tithe. You see how people pay tithe. We need to move this thing to permanent site. We cannot continue to be at the temporary site. But here we had Buhari. You know, that's one thing that gets me confused. Yes, I know that some will argue that the reason why that happened is actually because of the insecurity that we have in Anambra State. But again, we have a president who ideologically you should think that he should actually, having spoken against it, should have some principles surrounding it, but it appears he doesn't. So what then happens is 35,000 security personnel are sent to Anambra. And I saw some videos today, actually, that, you know, I said to myself, is this then what people are sent to Anambra to do? Are all these things still happening in the name of election? Or are you thinking of subduing the people? Hey, there is something, I've just received a picture. They said it's, man. Okay, let me show us this video. I mean, these things are things. The commissioner of police and those in authority, when I read one of the things they talked about, that Anambra will be subdued, I'm like, Subdued how? How are they going to subdue Anambra State? What is the intention here? Is it that then my people will now begin to walk the streets being fearful and frightened? Before now, it was a case of if you come out, you may be harmed. But thanks goodness that common sense, what many of us, myself included, from day one has been saying it is a wrong approach and a wrong strategy. Wake me up tomorrow, I still insist, because I said so in 2017, 2019, 2021. I still insist it's a wrong approach, unless it can only become a good approach when there is a collective backing it. If, for instance, if we say zero voting in the whole of the southern Nigeria, but if we are unable to make that happen, then I see where that would ever lead us. Now, but having said that, now I look at Mr. President who says, oh, during the Goodluck Jonathan time, they did something, this, yata, yata, yata. But now I want to remind Mr. President, in case if he hasn't seen it, this is what is also happening in my state of Anambra today. These were people, how people were being, how people now move around.
Hands up!
So you need to hands up your hand. No, you need to basically put your hands up.
Hello. But my like
and you can see that the person who is recording this is a Yoruba person.
Government day now. There's no government do. Him no go sleep, sir. He no go sleep. Let them know say we did. Government day now.
You know why? Now, there are two things here, because many of you after this might say, Maazi, where you stand. I read those comments. Let me again clearly state my stand. I stand for anything and for the interest of the great Igbo nation. However, having looked at this, two things comes to mind. One, let's bring some neutral analytical point here. At one point, you could look at this, you can really get angry, saying, why would people just raise up their hand because they want to walk on the street? Then someone comes to the other hand and says, hold on a moment. Yes, people are told to do this, but the security agents are also afraid of their life, because you can see the formation they have here. They have one at the main road. They have the other at the backup. In case if there is any attack, in case if the one at the road is down, the one at the back can pick up. I may disagree with Buhari. I can blame Buhari for all I can blame him for. But again, as Ndibo, we must not forget that onye patankwa aru. If some of the things that happened in the Southeast didn't happen, I don't believe that this number of soldiers or security men would have been deployed in the Southeast to suffocate the Southeast. Sadly, yesterday, even when these cancellation of sit at home came, a lot of people were already out. Many people already come back to Lagos. Many people already left the state to Ebonyi, to Abia State. Many people already come back to Abuja, because they were living in anticipation of a total lockdown of the Southeast people, non-Anambrarians that are registered in Anambra, used the opportunity, because today was a public holiday, they used the opportunity to travel to their various homes. Again, it means the more politics change, the more things remain the same. And I look at this, I'm like, I don't like the taste of this in my mouth. It's very sore. When I watch something like this, I'm like, a friend was telling me, you know, he came from coming from a hospital with the aged mom. The mom should be between 98 and 102, around that age. You know, they're coming from a hospital, I think somewhere at New, someone who is unwell, and they come there, they were told to hands off. And they said, no, my mom, obviously you can come here and see, you cannot come down from this car to hands off and walk. And I'm like, are the security agents, their brains, or are they reasoning through the orifice that they cannot see physically that this woman, one, is ill, and this woman is at this point not feeling well? And even looking at her, how fragile she was, they should have known that this woman cannot. And that was how an argument ensued. And the guy is saying, oh, you're arguing with me. Listen, that you have watching me and you're a police officer, for Christ's sake, you guys need to be civil. Fela talk uniform na cloth na tailor the so that we guys, that we pay our taxes to clothe you, pay your salaries, doesn't give you the infantry to begin to insult any citizen you see on the road. The citizens are there for you to protect, and not only to protect the thieves that you should actually be going after. Luckily, there was in this team of, you know, security agents, one who apparently had some basic common sense, who eventually intervened and let them go. But again, without this individual officer, who knows what could have happened? We saw in Ichida the other time a people that deposited the dead body of their mom on their way home. I don't know, but that car that looked like a Sienna was still on in motion when shots were fired in that car and someone died. Again, my people of Anambra, I can only ask us for one thing. That irrespective of on which side you are, I respect your decision. I respect your decision not to take part in the election if you so wish. I respect also your decision to take part in the election if you so wish. It doesn't mean that you are smarter than the person who says he's not going to take part in the election. It doesn't also mean that the person who takes part in the election is not smart, or that he's sabo, or that he's a sellout. No, it is a question of choice. And that's what makes us Igbo. The Republican nature, the right of choice. You have the right tomorrow. No, I begrudge you not. You have the right tomorrow. Cook ofensala, eat your ofensala. That's fine. Tomorrow, you also have the right to go without violence. Vote for the person you wish to, hang around, stay, ensure that they do not do emo abracadabra while you are still looking. And we, in the situation rooms, will be ensuring that the results are also coming in. If at the end of tomorrow, Ndi Anambra elects a candidate that reflects the will of the people, irrespective of the numbers that came out, I believe that there will be a new chapter in Anambra State, the home, the state where my placenta was buried. Our prayers is that the cradle of the great Igbo nation, after tomorrow, that peace is restored and that tranquility returns. People, again, somebody, Jesus is my father, said, you are sabotaging your people. Sabotaging your which people? I am from Anambra, and you can't come here and tell me that you guys are, listen, you guys are really nuts. Sorry, you're nuts. You can't come here and tell me which people am I sabotaging? I'm telling you, choose your, I don't engage in propaganda. So please take your propaganda out from here. Avenue Chai says, why is the double standard here? One for the North and one for the SE. I love. Again, before I answer this question from your comment, I deal with facts. In one of the conversations I had with, I think he's a Colonel Sajo from Adamawa State, he told me something in one of the meetings here. He said, Maazi, if Ndi Igbo knows something good for them, they should not allow an Igbo to degenerate into a situation where soldiers will be sent. That what they saw in Adamawa when soldiers came to Adamawa and the amount of innocent lives that were lost. I would stand here and tell you that it is a lie to say that the North, that the soldiers treat them different, is a lie. You and I are much better off because there is nobody in the North that would be showing all this misdeed of the soldiers and the policemen. They don't do it. But here we are watching it, we are doing it, we are analyzing it. That's what separates us. A lot and worse things happen up north. Recall in 2009, before President Yaradua died, I recall that I was then in London. I was having an argument with my brothers-in-law who flew into London that time. What was the argument? The manner young chap. Google just put type in 2009 Al Jazeera Boko Haram killing. You'll see it there. The video is still on YouTube. The way and manner these young boys were shot by the Nigerian military. I think that was in Borno. That was what eventually led to the killing of the founder of Boko Haram. These were people already captured. Listen, no matter what, when people are captured, whether terrorists and otherwise, they are now going to be subjected to the judicial process before imprisonment. These are standards we must uphold, be it in Nigeria, in the continent of Africa, in Anambra, in Ebonyi, in Oyo, in Sokoto, in Ibadan. It doesn't matter where. But in the manner these people were shot, I was arguing with somebody then as of 2009. Because, no matter what, the manner of killing, just put them like where is the only here, all of them dead. No, now. So, my dear, what I'm saying is not a justification. While I condemn this and this type of killings should never happen, be it in the North, in the South. It doesn't matter. But again, there are things that happen in the South, and because we have access to media, we shout a lot, people read them. Worse of those things happen in the North as well. That's my take on it. Now, Avino says so. Just Avino, you can come onto my WhatsApp. I will send you videos that I cannot publish. I can forward them to you if you want to. If you want to suit yourself.
Hello, Maz.
The priest of peace, is it?
Yes. How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm all right. Good evening. Thanks for joining me. So, what's the real name? May I have your real name, please?
Okay. If you can remember, I was one of the priests that spoke during a very wonderful conversation with Dr. Obadiah Malakia of blessed memory. I'm in the U.S. and a reverend gentleman. Okay, who is my name? I want to keep it at that. Yeah. So I was listening to. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, I was listening to what you are saying, and it's very, very, very unfortunate that we have found ourselves in that part of the country, what we are going on, what is going on, and what we are going through. To be honest with you, I am a little bit biased about your commentaries and everything, but there's something you said today that actually is beginning to change my perception about your opinion. I have to respect that. So, but I want to say something concerning the stomach infrastructure and how we can curb that stomach infrastructure as against every election. There was a time I called. I'm not going to say it here openly right now, but if I will have time, I can discuss that with you. I called the chairman or the president of World Igbo Congress, and I wanted to share this idea with him. And this is a very wonderful idea because we cannot. The last guy that spoke talked about, he prefers to take matches than taking 5,000, 10,000 naira because of what? Hunger. They have weaponized, the political class have weaponized hunger to shove it down our throat that whether we like it or not, we must accept it. And they are going to get away with everything they want to do. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm listening to you.
All right. So now there is something I tried to propose to the World Igbo Congress president. And he said, I said, so let me talk to you first before I put them in writing. I've already put them in writing. I have the strategy. I have everything that it would take to at least alleviate that hunger in the whole of Igbo land. It might be a temporary measure, but it will go a long way. It's not as if we are handing out, doing a handout to our people. No, but it is a way to make them understand that, look, we have to protect our honor. Our integrity is very, very important. So it's
and what is that? If I may ask, what is that suggestion?
Okay. Like I said, I don't want to bring it up here on this platform, but I can.
No. You've come here. You've already said you have a fantastic idea. You, in your words, you said these ideas you believe are so fantastic. Now you've got the attention of everyone watching across the globe now, and you can't just
see, my intention of calling in is to have somebody that will listen to me because you have a platform. I have a platform as well. I broadcast once in a while. I have a media myself, Justice Media Podcast. I am a priest. I have other things, so there are certain things I would say I will get in trouble, but sometimes I say, let me get in trouble. I have to say it, whether you say it or not, something will still happen. All right. So if I have gotten your attention, I would like to call you. Give me your email. We'll talk. I want us to talk because you have a platform, and we can bring in other people who will be in this game so that we can take this thing down to Igbo land. That every aspect of our people's life will be touched by that. they will be taught by that. So I am kind of I don't want to.
It's now sounding like what we talked about before. Fishing. You're now sounding as if we're going to have a crusade, and the fish will be shared, and everybody will now feed, and you can talk to us from the mountain, and without microphone.
Well, it might sound like that. If we are going to give our people fish, good and fine. Let it come from us, than to come from the politicians. If you understand where I'm going. If we are going to give our people fish, let us give them fish, but not from the politicians. Because, I mean, it doesn't make sense at all that every 4 years, some people will just come up and tell us, we will do this and we will water you. At the end of the day, it is still the same thing. So let us give them fish. If people in the diaspora will queue into this program that I am about to bring in, if we can keep, I want to assure you, when the election comes, it is all that are going to feed the people. If they want to go and collect the money they want, let them go and collect it. But as you said, vote your conscience. But we have to start from somewhere going forward.
Okay, I mean, I believe you have the number. Njenje Media is there on the screen, I believe. So my email, the email is there. Hold on, let me see.
Hold on. Let me get I'm at work. Hold on, give me a minute.
Yeah, but the email is very easy. njenjemedia@gmail.com. So you can always
Njenje Media.
That's the WhatsApp number.
Okay, I see that.
Or you basically do me an email. You can follow me on Twitter at MaaziEzeoke, or you can do an email, njenjemedia@gmail.com, or my personal email address, which is at MaaziEzeoke@gmail.com.
Okay. I think you will see that what you will see is Reverend Okechukwu Edozie.
Yeah, that's fine. Whichever way, whichever way that goes, that's fine. Quickly, people, let me quickly pull up my. Oh, why is Kaduna trending? Wow! If you go on Twitter now, Kaduna is trending. People, what's happening in Kaduna? Have they bombed?
So yeah, I mean, you see, that is what we are talking about. I mean, the double standard in everything that is going on in Nigeria, and our people here in the diaspora. So I wonder if it's touching them as much as it's touching me.
No, of course, I think it touches people in the diaspora. The people in the diaspora are more worried than people at home, actually.
To tell you the truth, I just came back from Nigeria 3 weeks ago. I went to Izombe. I cried my heart out.
Did you have some recordings you did in Izombe?
No, I couldn't even cry.
Why?
Honestly, I don't know.
Why didn't you record anything in Izombe?
I don't even know why.
Here is the poll on Twitter. So the Twitter, you can see the poll here. That is, if you want to follow me at MaaziEzeoke on Twitter, you can cast your vote. But you can look at Twitter. Twitter, we have 3,424 votes, and the vote is closing tomorrow. So we have 3,424 votes already. Just cast your vote and follow me. And follow me on Twitter, okay?
All right, I will do that. So I mean, that's the whole thing. And then I was in Owerri. I mean, I don't know the last time you went to.
I was in Owerri. January, February this year, I think.
Yeah, that's January. I'm saying it was better. I was in Nigeria in December, January, but it is worse than that period we are in Nigeria all in Owerri.
Hold on, Father or Reverend? I don't know. Okay, priest.
Yes.
See, you can read the question. People, Papa Obi Nonye Maazi. They said I should ask you if you have paid your tithe here.
Don't worry.
The tithe is not only for the church. We pay tithe here as well.
Don't worry. We will do our best. We promise you we'll do our best. You know, like I said, I have a little bias about you, but you know, I can respect your opinion. But there are certain things you see, we learn, we listen, we talk, we can share ideas. Even though we disagree, we agree to disagree, we disagree to agree. You know, so I agree on some things you are saying, and I disagree with you on some areas.
It would have been abnormal for you to agree with me in everything. I mean, of course, it is given. My dad or my son, it will be insanity for him to agree with me on everything.
Exactly.
But again, even if when I disagree with him, as young as he is, I must respect him. And when he disagrees with me, he must also respect my opinion. I mean, let ideas rule. So, you know, getting emotional and jumping up and down, insult one another is never a thing that interests me and never a thing I engage in. So thank you very much for joining me, Bruce.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
You're welcome. So people, as they said, the people are still saying whether he can share ideas. So people, you can see that, you know, we will now go to bed and sleep, and hopefully by grace of God, we'll wake up tomorrow. We will see and we will try our best to see if we can stop those who want to rig the Anambra State election. Stopping them means stopping them, exposing them in their tracks. Someone sent a picture to me. I wouldn't say the picture is verified, but I found the picture funny. And he said that you know, the picture. Let me quickly say the picture could have been anywhere though. It mustn't. Let me quickly do a see, the picture could have been anywhere. The picture could have been anywhere, but the way they looked, they you know, they shared the picture. They said it's Anambra, but I think I can see. I've done a quick search, and it appears not to be Anambra. Okay, I won't share the picture then. You know, the picture showed words of cash. You know, cash. But eventually, I just done a reverse image search of that picture. It's not from Anambra. Stopping them means coming out to vote, of course. Of course, I have never been against, as long as Anambra election is concerned. Many of you who say, where do you stand? Listen, I have never been against coming out to vote. Stopping them means come out to vote. That is the only way. Stop them with your vote. Yeah. I can't say that there is no other ways to put it. Stopping them means come out to vote. So on that note, people, I will thank you very much for having stayed with me this long, some minutes now. It's time for me to go to the Aza room. And thank you, many of you who obviously supported by liking this video, putting your votes, and also who shared this stream also, who made comments, and who stayed awake to join me in this conversation. And those of you who also came in this stream to have their own view. One thing we will know is here is a very democratic platform. You have your say. I have my say. One thing I ask of folks that I am and I must be respectful to you. And in return, I demand the same. That we all, amongst each other, that we all respect each other's ideas, and no one's idea could be said, oh, is the best, or could be said because of somebody's ideas, and you say, oh, that person is a sellout, is whatever you want to say. But be that as it may, I will say thank you once more for being my guest It has been a long talk. I am still MaaziEzeoke, and this is Njenje Media TV. But don't forget, tomorrow, anything you break, you pay. Tomorrow, na flying pelele, break and pay. And good night.
And I've warned in the first service, for those of you that like to fall under anointing and break things, if you fall under anointing again in this church and break anything, you pay. From today is break and pay. Any spirit that breaks anything in this church again will pay. That mad demon. This camera is 1 million. Oh. If you are falling under anointing, don't go there. Tell the demon inside of you not to go to this camera. Oh. You want to fall under power. You fall break television. You fall break camera stand. You fall break. Don't go near that computer system or media. If they come there, fire will burn them. You touch one computer there, 500,000. Always falling under anointing, falling under anointing. Pastor shake you, fall under anointing. Pastor touch your head, you fall under anointing. Pastor say, come here. You near pastor, you fall under anointing. Faller.